Welcome back to another podcast.
We're here. Everything in the room changed again.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. And now it's easier to record certain things, but not other things. Like this. And moonshine.
Yes, that was cold brew moonshine.
All from the very best. What brand is that?
Stumptown cold brew.
Stumptown.
Highest quality, always
Isn't Stumptown the same company when you bought the other one?
The nightmare thing I hated? Probably. The one that was like a carbonated ginger thing, and it's like,
and you trusted them again.
I didn't really pay attention. It just was unflavored, and I'm like, oh, cool, this one's just actually coffee.
In like in a bottle, you would find medicine.
I mean, the alternative is to go to the vending machine and ask it to give me 2 hot coffees, then put them in your fridge, and then drink them later.
Yeah,
just seems to skip. It seems like a decent skip just to grab this shit. But yeah, it's easier to do at home where I just have a Keurig next to where I work, and that's where my coffee comes from.
I just go to Starbucks every morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't drink coffee.
No,
it's not comparable.
Well, I've been drinking...
You can't have caffeine.
Yeah, I mean, I have been drinking.
You just like to have green drinks sometimes, so you go there and you try to play the fucking Starbucks lottery to see if you get poisoned or not.
I've been doing green
has
tea.
Fun consequences for our Let's Plays that one time.
I've been doing like green
where you're like, I've been poisoned. So like we're in the middle, we're like about to record. Just got home from a theater. We got home from a theater. So I think
Blade Runner.
Yeah, it was Blade Runner, right? And you went to Starbucks and got the green tea, which has to have no dairy and it has to have no caffeine because you can't have either of those things. But you keep walking into a Starbucks like a lunatic.
I'm sorry, I like drinks that don't taste like fucking orange Fanta.
And so then you get the drink and you and like we're about to record the podcast. You're like, I've been poisoned.
It was true. I had.
Hey, we can't record because you feel horrible for like an hour.
Yeah,
it's like you're playing with fire.
What is
orange Fanta? What are you talking about?
That's all I drink. Otherwise, it's either orange Fanta or like Starbucks drinks are the only two like not water drinks I drink. Otherwise, I just drink gallons of water every day. I'm like 90% water weight.
Have you considered just trying Jamba Juice? Like you're specifically going to Starbucks for a smoothie and trying to dodge all the dangerous ingredients, and it's like you could just try the actual smoothie place, which is actually closer.
I could, but like, is it closer?
I think it's closer. There's the one by the high school, I think.
Which high school?
The one by this, one of our 17 subways.
Oh, okay.
The one that's under construction right now, and they're adding all the stands, which is weird because
is there one right there?
They're fucking up that whole. I think there's one right there. I think I haven't
because that's where I haven't lived
in this town.
Literally
for a
where
while.
the Starbucks is.
I haven't lived in this town for a while, so I'm all mixed up. But like the only thing you have to watch out for, I think, there is that there's some things that have lime sherbet.
Why?
Wait, doesn't that not have dairy in it though?
Sherbet should. Sherbet's ice cream.
Wait, sorbet doesn't have ice cream.
Sorbet doesn't have
I think
ice cream.
I learned those are different things.
Yes.
People were getting on my pronunciation of sherbet, and then we had this fucking magic school bus moment where we realized that they're different things. It's not a mispronunciation. They're literally different.
Somebody thought you were saying sorbet wrong.
Yeah, they're like, that pronunciation, sherbet. It's like then we find out they're completely different things entirely. And like sorbet is some kind of non-dairy ice cream like substance or something.
It's
specifically not cream because that's the cream.
That's why it's called sorbet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if you get the lime sherbet things you have to worry about, but you can just ask them which one what doesn't have any of the scoop of basically ice cream in it, and it's just fruit. Because a bunch of them are just fruit smoothies.
But I don't want fruit. I want green tea specifically.
They have tea and coffee and other weird smoothies.
No, like I just want matcha.
They have peanut butter smoothies.
I don't know. Okay, that's an
First of all, it's called peanut butter mood, so I'm pretty sure it's full of milk. Because moo is a pun, like MOO.
Peanut butter and milk blended.
They have peanut butter and chocolate like milk smoothies. I've never had them. I don't like milk smoothies. Is that weird?
No,
I don't. I don't like all the smoothies that even taste milk-y for some reason. I don't know. Where is this podcast going?
I don't know, but
You were in France.
I was gone for 2 weeks.
That's why we didn't do this for a while, but also we came back and forgot.
Oh yeah, well we came back and then we wanted to win the Bitcoin.
We wanted to win the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Which we were totally going to win, and there was no chance that everyone was going to beat us.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if anyone's won yet.
No one's still won yet.
It's like a week later. And those are like people full-time obsessing over it in their Discord and fucking like net hacking shit and whatever.
Yeah, and we just casually ran around the hallway for a couple hours.
that was pain.
Yeah.
That was pain. I was all excited that we're going to be in another PT type situation of like experiencing a weird game the day it comes out where no one knows what's going to happen and shit. And it got frustrating in a way worse way than PT because PT was like one repeating hallway and there's a trick here somewhere and I don't know what it is. But at least we were like looking for a trick, right?
Yes.
Whereas in this one, it was just a fucking maze.
It wasn't like, even but it wasn't even a maze. It was a likely like procedurally generated shit maze that's just incredibly massive and devoid of landmarks largely. So it's like when we finally gave up like 5 hours in, your entire last hour, I think you only found one room at the end of the entire hour, right? Yeah, which was the room that, based on what I found later, but what we
found so far, they still haven't solved, right?
No, they did. You just stand in the room next to the bed. You don't do anything. You just stand in that room. So I would have won it if I had
They still hadn't solved it for like days, though, I think.
No, they have, I think they only have like, I think it's like 15 of the 24 needed words, and it's like...
To back things up, there's a game called Monte Crypto, the Bitcoin Enigma or something.
Yeah, the Bitcoin Enigma.
And the idea is somebody made an indie game to capitalize on the current press for Bitcoin and everything.
The very volatile prize of getting a Bitcoin has been hilarious to watch. Is like they're getting closer. Well, it's dropping in price, and it's like, well, they're
your prize is melting before your very eyes.
Like every time someone posts on the Discord, like they're getting closer, I check the Bitcoin price, like, oh, it dropped like 1,000. And I'm like, this is like the worst.
The idea is that it's like a puzzle game / ARG thing where the person who finally solves the final thing gets a password that you can use to get a Bitcoin from a visible like wallet that everyone can see.
Yeah.
And the idea is that there's 24, because there's 25 rooms, but one of them's starting room. There's 24. It's 24 part password where when you have the entire password, you can decode what you need to get the Bitcoin from the wallet, basically. So the first one to do that wins.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I read into the process of that where you have to get the program on your computer and download like crazy gigabytes of stuff. Like
it's 14.
Like you got to be 14. Doing. You basically have to do that in advance, right?
Or no,
like
it's 100.
You should be doing that in advance.
Yeah,
basically.
You're supposed to,
because otherwise, like I got the password, I can't get it. Shit, since somebody beats you to it because you didn't do that part yet.
Yeah.
But like it's a game that I'm still strangely happy exists. I hate it. Like. I got frustrated with PT because it doesn't let you finish it because it's blatantly PT was a game that was blatantly designed for you to talk about on the internet basically and find the solution that way because it was a marketing.
Yeah, it's a marketing.
It was a marketing gimmick. This one, this game is like unplayable essentially.
As a game, it's unplayable.
Yeah, because you start off in a starting room and at first, it's like there's a suggestion that they might make it almost playable by having like these weird trails that kind of guide you through the maze a little bit.
Yeah.
But that only leads you to like 5 of the rooms out of like 24. And then after that, it's like you can't find anything. There's no landmark system. There's no way to like draw a line where you're going to see where you've been or anything like that.
Yeah.
There's a map, but the map only covers like 1/5 of the overall game area.
And you can leave a message on the wall, but for no reason.
Yeah.
Because the message on the wall, 1, doesn't show up on the map, so you have no idea where you left that message. And 2, it blends in with every millions of messages.
Because yours don't even look different from everyone else's.
Yeah. So like the message thing is just there because they thought Dark Souls was funny, but they wanted to make it worse.
But also has the worst kind of map because it's a map that doesn't show you where you are right now. It's just like an etch and sketch map where it just draws a line everywhere you've been, which means you can't tell which part of the line is where you are right now.
And the maze doesn't fit on the map.
Doesn't fit on the map because only 1/5 of the maze basically fits on the map.
Yes.
Now, on top of all that, every hour you start the entire thing over, which means you teleport back to the origin point. All the puzzles reset. Your map's erased, and you have to try to figure out where you're going again. And after seeing the solved version of the maze where the people have drawn lines to every single location of how to get to them, it takes like an eternity to get to some of those places just on foot, period.
Yeah.
And like you have to and that's with the pre-mapped thing of knowing where to go. And I'm like, this is a nightmare.
And so the idea is that
the maze destroyed my ability to care about having fun with that game at some point.
And the problem is like the game requires you to not play it as a game because that's the point. It's an enigma. So like,
I mean, the maze hurt my enthusiasm for that game more than the Blue Room did.
That's surprising.
Because even the blue room, I'm like, well, that's what we got to do is something over there. Like, there's at least you're working towards a goal. And
yeah.
Like, I want to be the guy sort of way, as opposed to like just fucking maze of self-reflection and like, I don't know, suffering. And
it's a maze that
maze of depression.
Like in the middle of it has doors that have like the stupidest questions ever.
That are wrong.
And some of them are wrong. Yeah.
Some of them are wrong.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we won't get into the Israel thing, but like some of them are wrong.
Controversial.
Like,
one of them asks you what the capital of Israel is, and that's a controversial question. But also, like, people were looking at the math question about like if this guy's this age or that age and stuff like that, and they're like that's just wrong. Like the answer's wrong.
Yeah. Even though I somehow figured it out.
You typed in like the wrong answer, and
because I was typing, I just kept going up.
Yeah,
I just kept going up.
Because I was like, I'm gonna try to solve this. And Andrew's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I beat him. It took him longer to do the math equation.
That's always been one of my blind spots. That's one of my shames, is that particular equation of like, this guy is like that guy's age at that age plus that age or whatever the fuck, and you draw two separate equations and you can like substitute one variable into the other equation and shit. Somehow I always fuck up a step somewhere. And like I've done so much more complex math than that over the years, and every time I go back to that thing, I always make some sort of mistake that I always make for some reason. And it's like it's so weird because it's so elementary compared to shit I've been through.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
by the time you're doing like fucking integrals and shit, you should probably be able to do the stupid word problem about the guy that's like, oh, it's twice his age, but then 9 years later he's 3 times his age. And it's like, I don't know how I fuck it up on paper all the time, but I do. It's a problem.
I mean, that's better than me. I can't.
Oh, I've tutored you through algebra before. I know what it's like. This is an X. It's like a number, but you don't know what number it is.
Which is an abomination to everything that math is, which is numbers.
It's just still numbers.
No, it's a letter. Get your letters out of my numbers.
You're trying to get degrees in coding now. You have to understand what variables are.
I know. I understand the basics of math. I don't have to agree with it, though.
But if they're without variables, programming can't exist.
Yeah, but the variables aren't just numbers and then you write something. Variables are things that you write, and then the computer turns into ones and zeros based on a preset number. Like, so it's saying V is equal to this in binary. So then it reads all of it, and so it's reading your entire script.
V could be a function. It could be all sorts of different things.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the idea is that your computer's reading it at the most bare bone level is always at ones and zeros. So like every single thing you write is a 1 and a 0, but you don't have to type the 1 and a 0 for every single thing. So like you're going past certain steps because you don't have to deal with the numbers anymore. Now you're just saying like if V equals dog, and if you call dog, it will output a picture of a puppy. And it's like, that is so much better than, okay, here are like 4 numbers and one of them's a letter. Figure out what the letter means. And it's like, fuck you. I'm not going to do that. Just put all numbers and I'll figure out what the number is.
Feel free to decode his logic in the comments section. And then argue with each other's theories. Fight over it to the death.
Maybe you should throw some letters in there and fight about it. You know, using words like people do. And they don't put numbers inside of their words because that would be stupid. So keep your letters outside of my math because that's stupid. No one talks with numbers. I don't need to do math with letters.
The real plot twist is that Andrew's the true enigma. And I'm going to be decoding his shit for the next 3 years.
But yes,
what are you saying?
So back to the point. I was out of the country for 2 weeks, which is why we did not do the podcast.
For significantly longer than 2 weeks.
Significantly longer than 2 weeks.
Because I was unavailable the week before.
Yeah.
And then the week after, I don't remember if we even met. I don't think we met up the week after. But then the week after that, we did the Enigma thing. Yeah. Which was a huge waste of time. I literally opened the video with a disclaimer of like, this is a 5.5 hour descent into madness that should be watched by no one. It was like the starting screen.
Well, that's pretty good.
No one should watch it. It's a mistake. That game is a mistake. It's a nightmare. It's been interesting watching. I'm still subscribed to the Discord channel. The people that are like decoding it.
Oh, the decoding.
Yeah, and everyone's like they're figuring out how to like. It started with like trying to figure out how to like no clip via.
Cheat
is
engine.
It Unreal? Like what engine?
Cheat engine.
Like they were doing it via the built-in console commands of whatever engine the game.
Oh, Unreal Engine.
Yeah, it was an Unreal.
It's built in Unreal.
And then then people are figuring out like people had it down to a science. So like I was watching a guy that would like he had like a voice command that was playing, or like some sort of voice cue was playing in the game, like up to heaven and down to earth and stuff like that was playing over and over again because he kept teleporting between being on top of the maze and inside the maze. So he would teleport on top of the maze and run along the maze, then teleport into whatever room he felt like by standing on top of it, and like that was how he was navigating the maze. And I'm like, it's just so. There's so many videos of people like, this is my analysis of the 3 rooms, the 3 doors room, the room that has 3 doors. Because there's a room that's just a plain room where all the walls look the same and all the doors look the same, but there's 3 doors, and what's the puzzle? I don't know. And people like
at some
just
point
obsessing over these locations.
I think the worst part is that there's only so far you can call something an enigma.
Yeah.
Like at some point when you say like, here's a room with a bunch of furniture and a lot of like there's multiple rooms and they all have furniture in them, stand in front of the bed.
I mean, it turns out it's a fitting thing to have come out this year, because they're making the movie adaptation of Ready Player One, and Ready Player One is also filled with a bunch, like some asshole made some puzzles that are kind of just bullshit and like irritating and obtuse and unfair, and so people spent like decades working on them. Is like the premise of that movie and book. You at some point you have to like, it's really rough.
You know, it's like the old thing, like, so there's all these puzzles that were made, but like some of them are clearly not puzzles that could be made by a solo person.
Who?
Like
Ready Player One, or
in general, game? Like a lot. Whenever they have that trope, like in a movie or a story, they always have puzzles that are like, "Did you really do this by yourself? Like you built this entire thing?" Like it's.
Do you mean like the physical machinations of it?
Yes.
And stuff? Well, in Ready Player One, it's all digital.
Well, yeah, but
it's
I'm saying
all in a video game, so all of it makes sense.
But like at the same time, then you're saying somebody like so. They wrote like in Ready Player One. I'm imagining it's like digital in the sense of like programs and coding and things of that nature. It's
digital in that the entire movie takes place in a virtual reality.
So again, somebody had to have programmed that virtual reality.
Yeah.
So, and even if you go like, well, it's just the guy who did that. Okay, yes, but he did it using an engine and a software, which like whoever made this software and made this engine could probably just strip it all, throw it on the ground, and look at it like it's just a piece of paper and go like, this is what puzzle is and the solutions.
It gets complicated in that thing because it's called the Oasis, and in Ready Player One, it's basically the internet. Like it's literally like the Oasis is what the internet is now.
So the puzzle is the internet.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Because they're the company because he's the guy that ran the company who created the Oasis, which is what the internet is now in that world. Is this virtual reality megaspace thing. It's like what everyone dreamed the internet would be like, was like a massive cyberspace virtual reality place that has everything
Ghost
on
in
it.
The Shell?
Yeah, and everyone's got really obnoxious microtransactions where they can dress up as various nostalgic characters and shit like that and fly around in the Firefly and shit like that.
So VR chat?
I mean, the Serenity. Yeah.
Just,
kind of, yeah.
It's just VR chat?
Like people go to school in the Oasis and
Fantastic.
stuff like that.
That sounds amazing.
Like there's people, like they made that as being like the form of like free government schooling, is that you go to school in the computer and like you actually have like a government provided like jack-in kit basically.
And so like what? Do you have a government issued teacher who shows up and is like,
because being in the Oasis,
hey kids, let's get hip with the VR, and it's like grandpa.
Being in the Oasis is treated as being like a basic right, like plumbing and shit, which is funny because their society is so fucked in that book that like the idea that that's the one thing that they're allowed is like so like, oh fuck.
So it'd be like the
like
concept
the priority
of
structure of that world.
What is it? Yeah.
But so he's the one who created the Oasis in the first place and founded that company. So him hiding Easter eggs and puzzles, it's a little easier to understand why he'd be able to get away with it. Because
that still is like you still have to like take a step back though and go like, okay, but there are people who would have seen this happening and you would have had to approve it through them. Like it's like if you hide anything in a network, like a network setting, for instance, your network engineer would be like, hey, could you not like, could you not like alter the settings? And if the settings are altered, he's like, no, it's fine. You just go like, That's really suspicious. I'm gonna keep a note about that as to why the CEO showed up and mandatorily told me I had to change the setting.
It is the part that they skip over, is the entire part of like how he logistically was able to add these things in the first place, or what kind of access he had.
And it happens in like every type of like puzzle trope like that. Any kind of like story where it revolves around a puzzle, like especially even something as simplistic.
It's at least more believable than it being existing in real life. Like these crazy, insane mega puzzles.
Yeah, the point I was going to make is like ancient temples in Egypt, where you're like, we built booby traps, but like, somebody built those booby traps, and why don't they know how to not booby trap? Like,
exactly.
Like it's just
like that's the question that came up when we were playing Hammerwatch.
Oh,
playing Hammerwatch, and like you get in there and it's a square shaped hallway, and like there's just random side rooms where it's like, here's a bunch of weird spikes coming out and arrows shooting everywhere, and there's a chest at the end. It's like, who made this and how long has it been running? Like, how many arrows has it shot in like the centuries that it's been sitting here?
It's like Minecraft, and behind the scenes there's some like weird redstone thing that's producing arrows indefinitely and then putting them into the thing.
Like at some point, a lot of video games, you can only buy into a lot of video games and how their setting even exists if you contextualize it as being like Legend of the Hidden Temple, like it's like it is a game show, like it was all placed here as a challenge. Because otherwise, what the fuck? Why is it there?
I mean,
who set this up?
That's pretty much I mean, Sonic's that way too. We always make that joke about this is how I get to work. It's like Robotnik builds the most incomprehensibly complex like buildings, and you're like, where is even the regular entrance, Robotnik?
Like, isn't there a door somewhere?
Where's the front door? And
where's the chemical plant? Where's the chemical plant employee entrance?
It's almost baffling because you think about it in that aspect. You go like, oh wait, Robotnik's always in his flying car. So like, of course he just like the way to get into any building has to be some kind of like weird dock. But at the same time, you go like, but then why did you even build the rest of this, Robotnik?
I don't know.
And who is this for?
Yeah, it only gets weirder when you get to the 3D Sonics, because then it's like you're gonna go off to like Selena and go date your waifu girl and everything.
At least Selena is a town.
Yeah, but then you get to like the next place you get to, there's like a fucking like loop-de-loop, and you're like, who made the loop-de-loop? That only Sonic can traverse and no other characters. There's just random loop-de-loops for no reason and weird like 45-degree tilted walls. Like, what are you, fucking banking for race cars? Like, who's gonna be on these roads?
and like the worst part is like all of those places that you go to are just filled with only robots from Robotnik. Like, it's a place that literally Robotnik had to have set up that loop-de-loop because no one else lives in this area. No. It's only Robotnik robots. Nope. And so you're just like, why the fuck, Robotnik, why did you build a loop-de-loop which helps Sonic traverse? Why wouldn't you just leave it a barren desert that he can't get through?
It's one of those infinite rivalries like Bowser and Mario where it's like at some point like they just have to like be playing it up or something. Like,
I mean, at least
they
Bowser's
gotta be like pretending, right?
But at least Bowser is
like, that's why they had the Mario game that like tries to like reveal like it's all a theater troupe the whole time.
Mario 2?
Like it's just a it's just a
Mario
show.
Mario 2. No, I mean,
I think that was Mario 3.
Was it Super Mario 3?
2 was the weird one. That was different. That was a different game entirely. I think it was 3 where like,
2 was Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, I think 3 was the one where like all the different like that was the one where you jump at a weird box that was rotating power-ups and that'd be reward at the end of a level.
That was 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like 3 was that one, and also like the entire levels would be like stages. I'm a weird stage, and it's like it's like bolted into the background and shit. And there's like wires holding everything up.
I mean, it's I don't know. I think it's no mystery that obviously the Mushroom Kingdom does not operate on a
logic.
Like, well, it doesn't operate on this reality that Bowser shows up every fucking week and kidnaps Peach, because like it would be stupid like, that this kingdom doesn't set up any kind of defenses at some point.
Yeah,
like they don't even have a surface to air missile, and that's all Bowser traverses on is a flying like a flying ship. So at some point,
it's like the Zelda problem, where like how is Zelda never ready for Ganon every single time?
Well,
like,
at least that's like different incarnations.
Learn from the other ones though. Don't you guys have books?
Sometimes, I mean, what? Like Wind Waker, literally Hyrule's just in the ocean.
In half the stories, it seems like Ganondorf just walks in and takes over. It's like, you guys haven't heard about the last 60 times this happened?
I'm more surprised that it's always usually the same situation. It's always, because it's like Ganon is always the same. It's like how Link and Zelda are usually the same roles, where it's like, Zelda's always the princess and Link is always just a random dude. But a dude named Link. But But like Ganon is usually always a fucking Garuda. So like when he shows up, you go like, it's him. It's fucking Ganon. He wouldn't show up to Hyrule otherwise. Why would there be a fucking male Garuda here except
the only
Ganon?
one apparently.
Yeah. So it's like it has to be Ganon. And everybody's like, oh yeah, come on in. It just turns into Ganon.
Which is like the weird thing that happened in Ocarina is like she's like the only one who seems to recognize him as being the evil man, and everyone else is like just sitting there like, oh yes, come on in, come bow at the throne room, I guess. And like he's just like walking in, and they're like creeping in the window, and he like turns to look at them like the creepiest fucking cutscene. Which makes her seem like some sort of racist creep in that cutscene because she's like,
she
like that person, he's evil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she
no
like,
one believes me.
She looks like Zelda looks awful because she shows up as a kid.
She seems like a terrible person in that cutscene until the actual like thing happens.
Yeah,
like, oh shit,
she's basically just racist because she shows up. She's like, the brown man is bad, and it's like, whoa, like okay, Zelda, let's be a little bit more forgiving here.
They even fucked up in Breath of the Wild, which is the one where they already have their champion picked out, and everyone's gearing up with an army, and we're like, we're gonna take on Ganondorf. We're waiting for him, and they just fucking completely fail. Like the fight basically happens off camera, and they never stood a chance. I mean, like, son of a bitch.
They failed because Ganon just showed up and was like, "And all of these things are mine." And
that is the funny thing is that was the one game where they made mega weapons to fight Ganondorf, and all the weapons just got taken over by Ganon. I'm like, huh. I guess that's how it works.
Okay, but also to its credit, they were stupid enough to tell the same story, which is like, long ago, we made all these weapons to fight Ganon. What do you think? He's not going to find a way to stop that? But he's just going to like
see, Ganondorf learns from past mistakes. Maybe everyone else should figure that out.
Yeah, they do by defeat.
Everyone else should learn how to.
Everyone gets their ass kicked, and then 600 years later, another Ganon shows up. That's how it works every time. Like the cycle of Zelda is almost the most depressing, like, war never changes quote ever, which is like nothing ever changes. Hyrule may get worse or may get better. It may get like darker or sunnier, but
and the Rito may go from being shitty people that have fake beaks on their faces to actually birds.
But at the end of the day, the same fucking thing happens, which is, hey, I hope Ganon doesn't show up. Oh no, he did. What did he do? Oh, he kidnapped Zelda.
Oh, he took Zelda and took everything over again.
And then Ganon.
How'd this happen?
And bless Ganon's soul, he always.
Everyone search for some blonde boy with an affinity for green that has pointed ears he's not supposed to have in the town he lives in.
And bless Ganon. Ganon usually always is like, I will wait it out. One day Link will show up here. But like every time Link shows up, he goes like, I just don't think you're going to be able to beat me. And then he beats him. And he's like, damn it. I always underestimate this kid.
Why did
every
I just
time.
stand still in this castle for like 20 hours? Or 5 weeks or however long games take.
I mean, at least in Breath of the Wild it made sense. Because Zelda was holding him in. She was holding him back inside of the castle.
Yeah.
So that made sense.
Ganon's doesn't seem to be a sentient person. He's just a force of evil in that game.
Yeah. He's just he's just Calamity.
Yeah.
He's just called Calamity Ganon.
We're just fighting the Calamity. Whereas in the other games, in Breath of the Wild, Ganondorf is like, it's like the Nothing from a Neverending Story.
Yes.
It's just like the bad force that's ending the world.
Yeah, he's just
gotta stop.
He's just the negative energy.
But the weird paradox is that Breath of the Wild actually feels like a pretty chill world where things are going all right and you can just live there. And no real emergency to save Zelda.
I mean, there kind of is because of the Blood Moon thing and
but everyone's just living in these peaceful villages that never get attacked, and everyone's like having building companies and having a chill time.
Yeah, everyone's like,
seems like Ganon doesn't have that big of a problem after all.
I mean, until Zelda runs out of energy.
We'll see if maybe eventually she gets taken out, and then maybe like explosion of dark matter. Well,
that's basically what Twilight Princess is.
Yeah, when the entire world is just a dark dimension.
Where Ganon was like, and now Zelda can't do anything. And because
I gotta say, it's been brutal playing the
back-to-back Zeldas.
Not just that, but playing Zelda games after Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, because you're back to the rigid rules.
You have so much freedom in Breath of the Wild to just do whatever you feel like. It took me 50 episodes to get to Impa because I was like. I finished the plateau at the beginning, and they pointed a waypoint. It's like, Impa's over there, and I just turned 180 degrees and just walked straight into the desert. And I had a great time. It was a fun game. I had a great time the whole way through. And then I go from that to Ocarina, which so far is probably higher up there on the freedom scale.
Yeah.
But then I played Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which are like on rails as fuck.
Wind Waker is weirdly on rails given its map.
Given that it's a wide open world.
Yeah.
It's a wide open world, but every time you get to any island, you can't do anything on it without the right powers.
Yeah.
And also you have to do every single temple in a specific order.
It's really weird. Because I was the one thing I hated about Wind Waker was like, oh, cool. I'm like just in the ocean. I guess I'll sail around to this specific island.
I've had the weirdest experiences where people are just like wrong about
Zelda games. Yeah, they'll just forget.
I told you before, I think, about the Wind Waker stuff, but like people have been correcting at me and yelling at me about stuff in that game, and they're the ones that are wrong.
Yeah,
and it's such a fun paradox because it's like I'm used to like everybody. At this point, I'm used to the idea like everyone's played Zelda games a billion times before, and I've never played them before, so like I'm gonna be backseat game to hell every time I turn left, and it's like it's so fucking asinine at some point. But in Wind Waker, all the feedback made no sense. They're like, why are you turning around and going that way? The map wraps. You could just keep going and you'll go to the other side of the map like Pac-Man. And like 12 people thought that. It's never been true in any version of the game. And I looked up GameCube footage of the game to be sure. And I found confirmation that fucking you hit the edge of the map and it fucking just turns you around. And the fucking Red Prince is like, we can't go that way. Where are you going? What the fuck? And you turn around and you have to go sail the other way.
It's a two-stage process of nostalgia and Mandela effect, like blurring together, where people are like so nostalgic. We're like, it's such a perfect game and it can do all this stuff, and you're like, I don't think it does half that stuff, and I think you're like forgetting because you're. But
also, you beat the Temple of the Gods, and then after that, you do the two major temples that are like the last piece of good content in the game before the final dungeon happens.
Yeah,
which is it's like the Wind Temple and the Earth Temple. And they do a little paradox thing where there's clearly a plant creature and a wind creature, like a bird creature, that are your two companions, and they switch the two.
Yeah.
So you take the plant creature to the Wind Temple, and you take the bird creature to the Earth Temple and stuff like that. But everyone's like, you can do those in any order. You can do them in any order. And then they keep correcting me over and over again when I said, like, oh, you can't do them in whatever order. I have to do it the other way. Because I went to do one of them first and found you can't. So I went to do the other one instead because I'm like, oh, you can't do it. Because what happens is the little plant guy that likes to play the violin or whatever the hell.
Oh, yeah.
The Makar, I think, or something like that. He doesn't exist.
Until you do the first temple?
He's there at the beginning of the game. So he's there at the beginning of the game when you go to the Deku Tree in the first place.
Yeah.
He's one of the random characters that's there.
He's there.
The moment you do the Temple of the Gods or whatever, he disappears from the entire map. He doesn't exist anywhere.
What?
He's no longer even in his previous location where he's standing by the potion shop.
So they despawn him until you do the other temple, and then he spawns back?
Like he doesn't exist over by the potion temple where he used to be, and he also does not exist under the waterfall. Then you go find the bird lady, and you go to the temple with her. Yeah. Then after you finish that temple, suddenly when you go to that one waterfall, you hear music playing behind it, and you're supposed to like go and grapple through the waterfall. But I went there before then, and he wasn't there either. Because he literally ceases to exist from the map until you do the other one. Huh. So everyone's correcting me about being able to do them in any order, and they're just all wrong about how to play this game. It's fascinating.
It's one of the common problems with Zelda is that I think there's almost so many, and they're so formulaic at times that like your brain starts like melding them together, and you're like, I remember you could do this thing. It's like, no, that's like a different Zelda. I think you're mistaken.
The lack of freedom is frustrating. Because what's really cool about Breath of the Wild is that scripted stuff doesn't exist, basically.
I mean, there is scripted stuff.
Like it's like,
but it's not.
But I mean, like the video gamey special kind of super arbitrary scripted stuff. Like you'll go to Lanayru and trigger like a scene, and you're like, oh shit, there's the Lanayru dragon, or I encountered a scenario, and then I'm gonna do a thing. But like, it's not like they would tell you, go do a thing. And you're like, how do I do that? It's like, I don't know, walk around a few random times. And once you go through this particular trigger gate, when you walk through a direction of a town in the correct order or something, a certain cutscene will trigger, which allows you to continue the story. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck? Like, that never happens in Breath of the Wild because it's a systems-driven game, like Prey and stuff like that. Where it's like you're just playing the game and doing what you want.
Well, it's open world. And that's the beauty of it, is that you just, like, if you decide you want to deal with the dragon, like, right out the gate, you can. Yeah. You can just fly your stupid ass all the way over to the dragon.
Whereas,
if you
like,
wanted to.
Wind Waker has that kind of hot bullshit where it's like, hey, do these two temples. By the way, one of them secretly is inaccessible for no reason.
But why? I mean,
Like,
that's the thing, is that why would you even think to go to the other one first?
They don't even present them as being in an order. They just give you both of them at once. Like, hey, go to these two temples. But, but one of them is secretly the wrong one for some reason.
Yeah.
So far, Twilight Princess is kind of nice in that it's just linear. So I don't have a question of what to do next as far as temples go. It is just absurdly linear. It's really frustrating though that you go around the map and stuff, and there's just so many gates everywhere.
Oh,
yeah. And you're just not supposed to explore, basically.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
And like I encountered. So they wanted me to go to Hyrule Castle, and I just didn't. They're like, oh, go over to Hyrule and something. And they're supposed to trigger a scene where you find out about like the sick kid.
Yeah.
But instead I just went off to the right and went to Lake Hylia and fell in and found the Zora and all the problems. And like I literally didn't know there was a sick kid yet. And so they sent me back to find the sick kid. Because like, oh, my son, something's wrong with him. Could you find him? Because like the dead mother is like, do you know where my son is?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I got to go find the son now. So kudos for actually scripting multiple directions through the quests. Like if you find them first, they tell you to go over there because then they have a reason for it, which is the mother doesn't know what happened to her son and stuff like that. But like Ocarina is the best of both worlds and the worst of both worlds at the same time. It's like a train wreck nightmare.
I can see what you mean in that sense.
Because here's the good thing about Ocarina. You can do temples in weird orders.
You can. Yeah.
I did. I was blowing people's minds in the comments because I was doing like.
Did you like do Water Temple at like a really weird time?
I don't know the exact temple order I did, but it was weird. Like I think I did 2 temples before I even went to the Leaf Temple. Like I think the Jungle Forest Temple or whatever was like my 3rd temple.
That's impressive.
I think I went to like it might have been like Fire and Ice first or something like that. Like I went
to the Gorgon Mountain.
I went to a bunch of weird places first because you can, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me.
But it's also frustrating because you'll get devices that seem like they would solve your problems, but then you can't go forward because you actually need a completely undeflated device that you have no way of knowing would ever exist besides just progressing linear.
Like hook shots and so on and so forth.
Like everything about the Gerudo city and temple and desert is like a mystery mishmash of just items you don't know existed yet in the game. Yeah. Especially when they let you go into that one gauntlet. Like, can you defeat our gauntlet and get to all the keys? And it's like, by the way, you need every single obscure item in the game, including one of them that you have no way of even knowing exists in the game. Because you can only even potentially get it if you go into the past as a kid, play music to a scarecrow, go to the future, play the same song to the scarecrow for some reason, then you get a magic teleporting scarecrow that goes all over the place. And it's like, and then you have how would you know that's in the game?
And then you have to go find that scarecrow every time and play a song for him.
Yeah.
And once you play a song for every scarecrow, then you get an item.
It's like, it's one thing if it's like a nifty little like fun surprise Easter egg thing, but like to hit what's essentially a dungeon where it's required.
It's because isn't it the end of all that? Isn't it just it's like not really anything, right?
It's required as in like I mean like it's required to beat the dungeon, not required to beat the game.
Okay, yeah,
because that is a dungeon. The keys place, like that's like it's like a 16-room, like that's a dungeon.
Is it a dungeon?
Yeah,
I always feel because they're like in almost every other Zelda game, they always have the like, do you have every item? Run through this area. Like the Game Boy ones had it.
Wind Waker sure doesn't.
Oh yeah, Wind Waker
doesn't have anything like that. But like that location is like it's like a 16-room like labyrinth with a puzzle or a thing to do in every single room, and all leads up to a final reward. It's like ice arrows or something, so it's like who gives a shit? But
that's what I mean.
But you don't know that either.
So no, I think is it ice arrows? I thought it was light arrows.
No, light arrows you get from automatically at the end.
Right.
You get those from Zelda.
Or no,
because you get fire arrows by shooting at the sun. Literally,
that's right.
You're at the lake when it's filled in, and you point at the sun and shoot at it at the right time.
Forgot about that.
Get fire arrows.
Yeah.
Like, what? It's a weird game, but I do applaud that you can do the temples in weird orders. Like that's cool, and I was fucking with my audience, which is fun. But it's infuriating that like you hit points in the story where it's like, yeah, I don't know, do something. Is like the prompt you get.
Yeah,
and you're like, I know, I'll call my special friend that tells me what to do next because I'm lost, and they're like, yeah, go find someone. It's like, who? Where? What? It's like, your only job is to help me. You interrupt me every 5 seconds to not help me, just to waste my time and tell me, by the way, you can jump if you run off ledges. You had to know that to get this far, but fuck it. But then, like, whenever you're actually stuck, she's no help. there's no play testing involved where she like gives you a helpful piece of advice of where to go next in all the parts where you're actually gonna get stuck.
I don't think she was actually scripted to know what your progress was and what advice to give you based on your progress.
She's like infuriating.
I think she simply existed just to like remind you, like if you turn the game off and then came back on, she's just there to remind you like, this is your objective, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do that thing.
Which is fine when your objective is you should do the forest temple.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, that location. But then eventually she's like, find Impa. Where's Impa? I'll try Kakariko. She's not in Kakariko. I'll try the Goron place. She's not in Goron. I'll try the fucking forest temple. She's not in the forest temple. She's not in Hyrule. She's not at the fucking Lon Lon Ranch. She's not in any places. Oh no, you have to go through a specific door of Kakariko. You didn't walk into it correctly to trigger the scene. It's like, what? What? It's like you have to go into Kakariko, but not just go into Kakariko. Like just existing in Kakariko is not enough, and the scene that triggers is like you and Sheik at like the well or something. But like it's not triggered by approaching the well. It's triggered by you walking in the front gate of Kakariko from the outside via Hyrule Field specifically, and that's the only way to trigger it. And if you don't trigger that specific scene happening, you will just be stuck flailing for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And it's like you gave me a teleport. You know there's a teleport in this game. That means you know that I can come into Kakariko from other directions. There's like 17 shortcuts and underwater like the Death Mountain connects to the Lost Woods via a gate that plays music.
Yep.
And then there's the well. Underwater water that connects the Lost Woods then to the Zora.
Yeah.
And like there's so many back paths and directions, yet they didn't account for the idea that you might walk in any direction besides that one exact direction.
I think it's a mistake that was just overlooked, and then weird. They couldn't patch it out because it's an N64 game.
And also Epona is useless.
Epona is
it's the game where they give you a horse and it's like you can't unlock it until you're 75% of the way through the game anyway, where you already have a teleport that takes you to every city anyway, and you can only use her in Hyrule Field, an empty place full of nothing.
Yeah, but you get to ride a horse.
Like it's totally like one of those things where like you'll I
think Epona's just there for fun.
It's one of those things that people elevate and romanticize as kids.
Yeah,
because like they're playing this game for like 500 hours as kids, because as a kid you would just play a game and not progress and just do random shit all day,
and then one day you get a horse
because you had infinite joy. You had infinite joy and wonder and shit, so you're like, I got a horse, I can go in circles in this one empty plane.
I mean, for some people that was good. I mean, I think the horse was there for funsies.
Yeah,
later on Epona becomes like a very, like every game there's always some kind of like mount or some kind of like, it's either Epona or it's some kind of other.
Epona usually does something kind of,
but like she's useful for like, because the maps keep getting bigger.
Although I do continually question what to do with her in like every game or whatever replacement she has. Like in Breath of the Wild, there was the problem with like, they're like, you could do climbing and verticality. It's like, and goodbye horse.
Yeah.
I would like ride a horse across one open plane once, be like, oh, that's going to be some legwork to get over there. And I'd ride him across, then I'd climb up a wall. And then you just watch me slowly circumnavigate the entire map on foot, going from mountain to mountain and finding 17 different shrines and crazy things. And you can see the horse icon on the map, like 17 miles back. I'm like, oh, I remember that. That was in like episode 60. And I'm like episode 110. It's like, goodbye horse. I just left you forever.
I had that I didn't have that problem in mind because I got the amiibos.
Yeah.
And so
you had like Wolflink and shit.
Well, I had two amiibos two of the same amiibo, and so I was able to get Epona twice because one was a Japanese amiibo and the other was an American one. So it gave me two different Eponas, and so I had two Eponas. So I always kept one at the horse place.
That is weird.
And then if I went somewhere else, I was like, oh, I need a horse. I could just call it back to the place. So I would always have a horse that I could just get if I accidentally left one way far away, and then I could use.
Did you get the Mega Horse?
I haven't played it since the DLC came out.
No, it wasn't a DLC.
Oh, what Mega Horse?
There's just a fucking Mega Horse.
What the fuck's a Mega Horse?
It's just huge. It's like Ganondorf-sized horse.
I don't think I've seen that horse.
Yeah.
No.
There's just one plane in the game where you can find the giant ass horse. I don't know what to call it exactly, but it's like twice the size of all the other horses.
That's odd.
It's absolutely massive.
I've never run into this
and
mega
it shows
horse.
up with a gang of horses in this one part of the map next to some dangerous Lionels and stuff, and it's pain in the ass, but you can tame it and just have a mega horse that's just completely unreasonable. Then you have a supersized horse for some reason. It's just there in the world. I love that game because it's full of so much random bullshit like that you just find.
Yeah, I felt so underwhelming because like the moment they were like, oh, I'm gonna introduce you how to like tame a horse, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. And like the moment I was like, okay, I learned how to ride a horse, I used the amiibo thing.
Yeah,
and it was like, you got Epona. I was like, well, I guess I'll never mount a horse again because Epona's the best horse in the game, so that's cool.
How weird is it, by the way, getting around in Twilight Princess?
It's
super strange.
It's really odd
because every time it's time to progress in that game, you have to go into the dark world, so you become a wolf.
Yes,
and then once you're a wolf, you can teleport to all the teleport spots on the map that you have so far. But you're also pressing forward on foot as wolf, which is slow compared to being on a horse.
Yeah.
But then after you get all the tears of light, you then turn it into light mode, so you then become Link again, and now you're allowed to summon Epona, but like, you've already progressed through the area, so like the only thing to do with Epona would be to backtrack as Epona because they removed the teleport feature when you're in light mode. You're like, oh, but the teleport was nice.
Yeah, and so there's like almost you feel kind of like annoyed that
the only purpose of the horse is to like go running all the way back to the starting village on foot as the horse, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
There's no other ways to do it and stuff. It's a weird way of getting around.
Like I said, Epona's always weirder, or like a weirder element, because like as time goes on, they kept like trying to slowly refine Epona to be like, you're gonna be useful one day, horse.
They at least made scenarios where you have to use Epona that makes sense in Twilight Princess. I mean, there's the wagon chases and the jousting scenes,
and the world is bigger.
I need a horse for this.
Yeah, and like you can go from all the way around Hyrule Castle, because Hyrule Field isn't just a small little one area anymore.
Strangely, like, the game where Epona's most useful is Hyrule Warriors.
Well, it's a Dynasty Warriors game, so
horses are useful in Dynasty Warriors games. You call a horse and you go taking off.
Yeah,
I think you could have a horse in that game. I don't remember.
And
I feel like you could.
In what, Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah,
I don't think I ever remember using a horse.
I don't remember using a horse, but I feel like they would be. I use horses in Dynasty Warriors games. Did they not have? Did you not use Epona in the Hyrule Warriors?
I think there was a level or two where there was Epona access.
What if you just played as Epona?
I mean, I
get comboing through people as Epona.
It wouldn't be the weirdest thing, given given
some sort of weird source mod.
Well, I mean, given you're literally able to play Fia or whatever, which is like just the Fia, which is just the Master Sword.
Did they give you Fia as a character?
I think
eventually?
Fia is a character you can play as.
You're like escaping the camera frame, by the way.
Am I?
Yeah. You've been slowly sliding away like
this
3
part
feet
of the
over.
room is like at an angle, so I slide away.
Is it actually at an angle?
Yeah, I like keep sliding away.
Oh man,
I don't know. But so let's do some questions, because we have a backlog that's ugly, and I would
feel like I had
You have one more thing about Zelda?
I thought I did, but I've like lost it. Oh yeah, I've got a problem that keeps recropping up, and it's really embarrassing.
In Zelda or just Twilight Princess?
Every time I play a Zelda game, I can't figure out how to fight the bosses.
Oh, okay.
So there's a recurring thing, especially...
The items are usually a good hint.
It happened in Wind Waker a bit, but especially happened in Ocarina. Like, especially in Ocarina.
Really?
Is that I get into a boss chamber, and I would, like, use up my entire first fairy before I do a damage to the boss half the time.
Huh, that's
I'm like, let's try this item. Let's try this item. I'll try attacking now. How about now? Or do I attack during this part? Like, sometimes it's like, you're hitting this with the sword wrong.
What a very curious
there's all these weird moments where I'm like, how do I damage the thing? Would be like a recurring problem. The first really bad one I remember was Big Octo.
Oh,
it's just a fucking nightmare boss. You have to chase him in circles, and there's something to do, and like I can't figure out how to aim correctly, and like the aiming is a nightmare to begin with, and the camera controls in playing a 64 game is a nightmare, and it's like a boss fight about running in circles. I'm like, why did you make that?
Yeah.
But a really bad one recently was in Twilight Princess. You fight the Goron like bodyguard guy in Death Mountain.
Okay.
He's all mecha armored, and you're on a disc that's wobbly. And I'm like, how do you hurt him? I'm like, I keep hitting him. I'm like, I know, we're in a wobbly circle, and he's a sumo dude. It's Mario Party. I gotta knock him off. It's not how you don't knock him off.
No.
I'm gonna keep chipping at him, make him fall off. I'm gonna use my wind. I just got a wind boomerang this dungeon. Ha! Okay, and none of the items work.
Yeah.
So it's not an item boss fight. there's just some attacks with your sword that completely destroy him and other ones that don't.
Yep.
It's like all of your attacks bounce off of him, but if you do like supercharged spinning attack, he like falls over a bit, and then
you have to charge.
Then you're like, with your shield, and that it's like I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, basically you have to as you're on the like the top, you have to charge your sword and hit him, and then it makes it so he can be hit, but he can't like be hit regularly. Like
you have to enter such an arbitrary like video game headspace.
Yes,
because like none of this logically makes sense about like how swords and armor and things work. The way that he just go like impervious baby, like that's his reactions to your two attacks.
I mean,
like,
but every Zelda boss is like that. Every Zelda boss is either like, you can't touch me, I am invincible, and it's like, arrow. Okay, well now I'm crippled, and it's like, what is happening?
There's been such a journey from boss fight to boss fight of like, how do I hit like Bongo? I lost my goddamn mind trying to hurt Bongo at all, and he just keeps hitting you, and your character's vibrating the entire boss fight because the floors moving. Like, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm gonna lose my mind on this boss fight. Twilight Princess has been really easy though.
Yeah, Twilight Princess.
The temple boss fights, I'm like, that fucking guy with the chain and shit. That's a cool fight.
Oh, yeah.
You're pulling on the chain and making him trip and shit like that, and you're using the mag boots on the pieces of metal that are on the floor, and you have to not go on the parts that are not metal, or you'll eat shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's some fun stuff going on there. There's the Shadow Colossus boss fight in the
Twilight
water.
Princess has some fun stuff, which is weird, because I think there are a lot of people who hate Twilight Princess. They think it's like one of the...
It's a fun game.
It's not as bad as Skyward Sword. I think Skyward Sword's the one that everyone is like usually pretty hateful about.
I will say that Twilight Princess used to look like shit. I looked at pictures of the old game.
Oh, the GameCube version? Yeah, it was a mighty mess.
What blew my mind was looking at pictures of the GameCube version of Wind Waker, and it just looked the same. It just already looked as good as it does now, except now it has like a slightly cleaner color palette and some sharp edges.
The cartooniness,
it
really
looks like
works.
the same game. I'm like, how did it run on a GameCube? Because like, because
cell shading.
Yeah, it's just a really cool style.
Yeah,
Twilight Princess looked like fucking garbage.
Nope. Yeah, Twilight Princess
looked bad, and now it looks painterly. It looks beautiful.
It does. I mean, playing it on the Wii U, it looks fucking majestic.
Everything looks like paintings. You put the pause menu with like Wolf Link in the middle, and everything looks like it has painting textures to it.
If you look at the GameCube, you're like, what is this mess? It looks like butt.
Because it was a brown game full of brown.
If you try to go to Hyrule Castle,
you gotta rewind in your brain that brown game full of brown used to be in 360p 4x3, and it's like. This was a GIF on Imgur. Was it you were playing the whole game on?
Dark times.
So for that purpose, it's a good time to get into Zelda. I get to play every game in 1080 for
the most part. Yeah.
The problem is the controller.
God, I don't think there is actually. Is there a single Zelda game that hasn't been like main game Zelda games that hasn't been?
No,
HD?
they've obsessively re-released every 3D
Ocarina of
one.
Time, Majora's Mask.
Annoyingly, two of them are handheld exclusive for some reason.
Yeah, I don't like the Majora's Mask and
make a Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask double pack on the Switch. Fucking great, do that.
I'm kind of I at some point I'm kind of baffled. Like, I just like. Who keeps letting Miyamoto just do shit sometimes? Like, because Miyamoto's in charge of this whole fucking shebang. He's the damn, like, he's the god deity over this entire franchise. And sometimes he'll just be like, no, it's only on the DS. And you're like, Miyamoto, why? Why the fuck are you so stubborn about this? And he's just like, my vision. I'm like, I don't care if you're blind. Put it on the consoles. You know it would sell well.
That was the soul-rending thing that happened with Monster Hunter at that time. It was like, they're like, we're going to make a Monster Hunter. It's going to have more monsters than ever before, and multiplayer features and streamlining things and tons of content and mind-blowing thing. You got to play it on the square. DS. You got to play it on the square. It makes your hands hurt. You can't see what's happening. Yeah. Everything's jagged. It's amazing to look at screenshots of each Monster Hunter game and like see them get worse in quality.
Oh yeah, because
like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's like Monster Hunter 4 is like everyone's made of squares because like you can't get past the aliasing problem that is every screenshot of a DS game that's a 3D game. It just looks like everyone's made of like fucking something designed to cut cardboard.
Yeah, it's just interesting that there's some. Nintendo does so many interesting things, and then they do almost as many bad things.
Oh yeah,
where Nintendo will just they'll just do some weird shit. But All right, let's do some questions.
So what we got? An hour in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put it in the most awkward place where we have to turn away from the microphone to read
It'll
it.
be fine.
I couldn't get my phone to show the questions. We took so long to answer them that my phone stopped showing them because they're too old.
Yeah.
And I can't find the setting to make it not do that anymore.
Well, I
found it on my iPhone, but then my iPhone I had to get rid of that. Now I'm stuck with this piece of shit.
Well, and you're in luck because I can read it from here. So it says.
We have 4 screens behind this because we're energy conservationists. There's also this recording on a phone that's over there, and there's a light with an umbrella, and there's a light above us.
I don't need energy bills.
Probably air conditioning, and there's 2 computers in here. What is this one? What's that thing?
That's not a computer.
What is that?
That's a power bank.
It's a power bank for your computer?
Yeah.
Oh, like a UPS?
Yeah, to make sure it doesn't. Like if there's a power outage. I
mean to get a UPS, but also I haven't had a power outage affect my work for like 2 years now. I keep dodging them somehow.
Yeah.
I've only had the one time where I was playing Invisible Ink, which is the worst time to ever have it happen, and the power went out during Invisible Ink, and I'm like... So like I have an episode that starts mid-mission, because I'm like, here's what happened, kinda. You literally can't rewind in this game. You can't have saves.
You have to like...
That's the premise is it's auto-saving constantly every time you make any decision.
Yeah,
so like when the power goes out, you're like... I lost 20 minutes and it's impossible to get back. Besides like starting the entire campaign over, but that would just be canceling this season and starting over.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck. The only other time that could really fuck me would be like a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, that would suck.
Like that one time I made progression through a chunk of Bloodborne, and my Elgato, I was doing the Elgato software back then. I hit stop and it's like, yeah, we didn't save that. It's just what they like one of those weird pop-ups that you only see once ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool. I just lost like 4 hours of Bloodborne. That's impossible to replay.
The worst part is I know that error because I've also gotten that. Like I feel like everyone's gotten that error.
So I started over an entire new save game, and I streamed over the course of 2 days, me like speeding through the entire game up to that point, just so I could replay that one part, then switch back to my main character. And it's like that's the worst. Gets so fucked by an error.
Yeah.
Gets so fucked by an error.
So let's see here. We have hi there. This
you said you could read it.
Huh?
You lied to me.
Huh?
You lied to me.
I can. Hi there. I have a problem with my hands, wrist, arms, shoulders, and neck. It's a type of repetitive strain injury. So, do you take any precautions in regards to preventing this from happening to your cells and your hands are heavily involved in what you do? Okay, that's by Preed. Okay, well that's not advisable. I'm
gonna create an RSI right now.
neither of us use any kind of like, we don't use wristbands or. Yeah,
I do absolutely nothing. I've never had any wrist problems.
Yep, this hand has.
We're made strong.
This hand definitely has carpal tunnel brewing. But
it does it?
Oh,
you having problems?
No, but I can feel it. Like every so often,
your body couldn't just let that one part work.
No, like every so often, I'll feel that clearly this hand is like, I have carpal tunnel, but I'm holding it back, and I'm like, keep doing your best. Like
I have literally never had pain or problems at all, except for like maybe like one day of like as in like the same way that your shoulder could feel weird for a day or anything could feel
weird. It's just a kink. Yeah, you'll get a kink. You probably lay on it weird
or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's pretty much how I am. I mean, I've never, but I think it depends because I don't know personally the way
carpal tunnel brewing.
It is, but it only happens if I do it for so long. Like if I sit there and I use the computer for probably like 16 hours.
Yeah.
I take my hand off and it's like, ooh, and I can feel it like kind of it like I can feel the inside of it creaking, and I'm like, ooh, that's not good. But then I'll wake up the next morning. It's like, oh, it's fine now. And I'm like, okay, you just needed to.
Weirdly, I feel like I never have like intense computer usage as a thing that happens in my life.
That makes sense.
Like,
I mean, it sounds dumb because you do Let's Plays, but like you also play with a controller a lot.
But like even then, like it's just like I don't marathon games. Like I'm not Wanderbot, like playing like streaming for 7 hours straight or anything like that, like a lunatic. Like I get up and stand up and walk around and like try to like I get stir crazy and want to like move around and do things every now and then and take breaks.
Oh, I do the same thing. I'll stand up and I'll move around.
You're just sitting for so long. Yeah. Like that's not a good, just generally not great feeling to begin with.
You know what hurts the most is I think the only time I ever actually feel it, the only time my hands ever actually feel or my wrist actually feels in pain is usually a laptop.
Yeah.
When I'm using a laptop.
Oh yeah, that's another thing is I actively avoid all forms of things that make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, like this. Like when you're using a laptop, you have to hold your hands like this basically.
Yeah.
To do stuff. And
it's
when
horrible.
I'm on my desktop, my hands are like perfect. They're 100% straight, so I never bend them.
Like I had a laptop I got specifically for that month-long geology trip because I needed to do my do the course and everything. And it got so little usage afterwards that when I was trying to record the Breath of the Wild like karaoke video thing, I wanted to take that in my car with a microphone and like just go off remotely, so I could like just be loud without embarrassing myself, so I could like go all in. I ended up recording that and Night in the Woods on my phone instead because I couldn't get a powered USB to go with me. I even asked Marty if I could borrow his laptop and he just said no. I'm like, oh, well. so like I'm off in my car just like singing into this device.
I mean, your phone honestly can record pretty well.
It did all right, but it's too tinny and weird, so I had to do a lot of post-processing things to try to fix it. Also, I suck. But like, fucking where were we? But yeah, like I can't. Like that's how little my laptop got no use because I hate laptops.
Yeah, it feels bad.
I have a 3DS and I think I have a DS Lite and a 3DS XL, which is like fucking spectrum there of sizes, and they both just sit there.
Yeah, I mean, I have my
it's not fun to play video games on this either, like phones.
Yeah, phones
or anything.
are not great.
I hate.
I have my 3DS and I play Smash Brothers on it. And it is a wild ride for your wrists. I
played Kingdom Hearts 300 and blah 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 over something days.
365,
the bullshit number one. Yeah. It's definitely not 365. That makes too much sense because that's how many days are in a year. It's some dumb number.
Oh, okay.
It's just a stupid number.
It's like 362.
It's a stupid game. It's a bad game. I think it might be 358. I don't know, but that's a bad game. But it's definitely not helped by it being a dumb DS game. So like I'm craning and I can't see what I'm doing, and it's like a third person RPG, and it's a tiny postage stamp screen, and I'm trying to hammer these buttons that are at right angles.
Yeah,
like the L and R buttons are just rectangle blocks.
Yep.
That you try to press.
Everything about the DS is blocking.
And you're trying to press it, but we're adults. So when we press it with our fingers, we're not using the tips of our fingers. We're using like the beginning of our finger to press the button, because that's how big our hands are.
You have to like claw it.
Because we're both not Japanese and not children. So like these are not even the XL is too small. Like it hurts.
I have the XL. I have the new XL, and it's like as big as it gets.
At this point, like I just only play games when they come out on like PC and console, because like I can't handle handhelds, which probably helps with not getting any RSIs, I guess.
I guess that's the way we avoid it.
I also nowadays have an adjustable standing desk, which I don't use for standing, but
more just to keep yourself level with the desk.
What happened is one of my lunatic roommates just moved out and just left all the shit. So I was like, I guess this is mine now. So I just
squatters' rights.
I just inherited his like expensive desk. And it's just a solid, like, heavy ass slab table,
and you just crank
it has a crank that changes its height.
Yeah.
So it's a perfectly heighted desk for me to have like a straight hand that's not tilted. Or anything.
And it's hard to see, but I have like a pad here that my wrist sits on, and it never fucks with my wrist.
So my desk is just the perfect height because it can change height.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Basically, that's a
cool feature. Just buy really expensive desks. And stop playing video games and go outside.
Great. So next question. Hey Andrew, Keith, I just wanted to ask, what made you decide to do YouTube of all things, and what were Andrew's previous jobs, since we know Keith was a geologist? Okay. It doesn't say what name from.
I feel like this is already answered, isn't it? Not this specific question, but like we did a whole first episode.
Yeah, our whole first episode is what.
Watch episode 1, which was the entirety of us talking about our backstory, essentially.
Yeah,
we just met each other and we're like, want to make a thing?
Yeah, basically, for episode 1 is just the how did this come to be? But
because I think it talked about like I had aspirations to like have like a weird debate thing, and like we were gonna have a bunch of people in your garage arguing about shit, basically.
We went way back,
but it just evolved into being a dumb podcast instead. And then none of those people ever came back because none of it went as planned. Really, did. Well, Carissa and Max showed up a little bit. Zach never was saw again. But then you were playing Amnesia, and you left that review of like play Amnesia, get insomnia, and tell those stories about like CeeLo scaring you playing Amnesia and shit like that. So we're like, what if we just recorded that?
Yeah.
And like I hadn't even heard of Let's Plays at all as a thing. It's just, I mean, I there was recording software that existed already. I had recorded like World of Warcraft and random crap before. I'm like, we could just record you being scared of a game. It's probably funny. And so I just put that on YouTube.
And thus YouTube was born.
But somehow it took us forever to get to that stuff. And we started off playing a bunch of Xbox Live indie games.
Yeah.
We went straight to that. That's the weird thing.
We did.
I don't remember the conversation or what happened. But our first recording session for Let's Plays was that we played like Akana the Kunoichi and Protect Me Night and stuff like that.
I think it was because
Baby Maker Extreme 2.
Yeah.
And that was our first session. And it was weird. It was post commentary.
Yeah, we recorded the game and then we talked over it later.
We recorded it all. We talked over it later, but also it was even that wasn't synced up correctly.
Yeah,
and there's so many frame rate and video problems and shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's how we. I mean, just watch the first episode. You could find out how we got into YouTube.
Yeah.
As for previous jobs, all my previous jobs are like tech related, and one of them was retail.
Yeah, people act like doing YouTube is going to be like a big decision you remember. Like it's monumental. There's no barrier for entry. You just do it. You can do it right now. You could do. Yeah. You have a phone. You could just blah 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 upload, and then it's on. And my phone's upside down. Then it's just on the internet, and no one will watch it, which is how everyone starts. But that's all it takes. You just make stuff no one watches and press upload.
Pretty much.
And eventually you iterate.
And then eventually,
or you give up, like most people.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because the barrier for entry is super low, but the barrier for actually making it anywhere is super high, and that's not a choice. It's partly a choice because you have to stick with it. Yeah, but you don't actually choose to be successful or make it places or whatnot.
Yeah, that's definitely out of your control.
Yeah, I learned a lot from looking at the Let's Play subreddit about how high the failure rate is, because it's just like, if you go to the Let's Play subreddit, people are just asking the same questions and answering the same questions every single week forever. And the questions don't change for years because every single week it's all new people asking these questions again.
By the way, there is a wiki and all there's a search function.
And all the people that asked it last week already quit YouTube forever because they're like, oh, nobody watched my videos immediately. I give up. Because they expect
to be PewDiePie
instantly like Markiplier and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, that it's a recurring thing for me and for both me and Wander is having people come in and call our channels dead. Like, clearly your channels are dead. You're only getting 500 views. You're only getting 2,000 views a video and stuff like that. And it's like, in both of our cases, when people say this, we look at our social blade. It's like, yeah, we're literally our most successful month ever. We're at peak productivity. Literally never been better. We're growing faster than we've ever been doing. We're getting more views per month than we ever had before. But people just see view count as like, if it's lower than the big people, then you're dead.
Yeah.
And they don't understand how that's like completely insane. I mean, you literally start at zero and go up, and as long as you're growing, you're not dead. But people seem to have this weird, like, fucked up fantasy idea that you literally just make a channel and it just spawns into existence at like 2 million subscribers and like hundreds of thousands of views per video. And if it ever drops below that, you must have done something wrong and dropped down to there. But you start at zero.
Yeah.
And like, you can't explain this to people. They're too stupid. It's amazing how stupid some of these people are. They will tell you to your face your channel's dead, and you'll like try to educate them, and they're like, "No, your channel's dead. You should just give up." I'm like, "What?"
I feel like it's
what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I guess people want less competition. If you go around telling everyone their channel's dead and they quit, then maybe it's just you left.
It's so incomprehensible and bizarre.
So let's see. Next one. Hey, I've been watching Black Mirror recently, so what are some of your favorite episodes, and why are they your favorites?
Oof. Andrew doesn't like the show.
I like some episodes.
You like an episode?
I like
the one about.
I like 2 episodes.
You like White Bear, don't you?
I like White Bear, and I liked another one. I don't remember. I liked another one.
That's not boding well.
Well, it's hard because well, for one, it's hard to remember their names, but 2, I like the retirement home one.
Oh yeah, everyone likes that episode.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's a cool episode.
Nothing wrong with.
It's named after the location. San Junipero.
San Junipero. There.
Yeah, everyone likes San Junipero.
San Junipero and White Bear.
It's a good little movie.
Yeah, that's it. Those 2.
Yeah.
Everything else is I don't need it.
I like most episodes of Black Mirror
But what's your favorite?
What's my favorite episode?
Like, what is an episode you would watch right now again?
All of them?
What the fuck is wrong with you? All of them?
Yeah.
I would
just rewatch any of them. Some of them are weaker than other ones, like the
like the kid with the child porn.
That one was weird.
It was like the worst. I think that's like the worst one ever
jumping
made.
Straight to spoiling the ending on that one. Was it?
Well, they don't know which one I'm talking about.
So the worst episodes of Black Mirror are ones I'm still like into, but it's like a weird thing where it's like, I'm like, I don't know if you accomplished what you're going for.
You think you failed the execution?
Or it kind of feels like arbitrary bullshit's happening throughout the episode.
Yeah.
But I'm entertained still. Like a good example of that's Tester.
Oh,
like, I find Tester as an episode entertaining, but I think it's a sloppy, weird episode.
It's poorly written, but interestingly executed.
It's like just existing in its premise is still entertaining.
Like the idea that someone's sitting there and is like unaware that they're in VR and then like witnessing things. It's the idea
that
it's fun.
In an instant, somebody lives through an entire like virtual scenario that's designed to make all of their horrors come out at them. Basically, is like. That's enough. That's interesting. But like the premise as to why it's happening is really dumb. I think possibly the weakest episodes for me are... God, that fucking episode pissed me off so much too. Because I remember that. I remember the episode. Didn't he like... So one of the episodes that's really hard to watch is the one about the bees. Not the bees! Because the bees one is like... Where they're all like dying off. If you think about it too much, almost every part of it is a thing of like, if you think about it, you're like, what? Fuck, what? Yeah. Like it has too many logistical problems that distract me. It's like, it's definitely one of those, hey, this would be really cool in a sci-fi aspect. Please, please don't think about it in a Black Mirror aspect. Whereas possibly my least favorite episode is the one about the blue bear. Oh, I had like 3 episodes. What's that? I like the one from the new season, the one with the dog. The drones, the robot monsters. That's a fun episode. That's a good episode. It's a weird Black Mirror episode. Like it stands out, but it's a fun like robot apocalypse Terminator movie. I think it was like the best episode because so fucking grim. It's like a Fallout movie. I think it's really like the tone is great, and it's just this relentless chase with like a monster. It's just the best part is just how. It's so emotionlessly but endlessly chasing her. It has like nothing it will not stop because it has nothing else to do. Yeah, that's its entire life. All it does is hunt you and kill you. People. Yeah, it's the people hunter like dog robot thing is like that's a good one. I think my favorite part about that is because I didn't know what to expect. Like when it starts off, you're just kind of like, this is kind of weird, like just people in a car. But like the moment it drops the bass, basically, which is like the guy takes the box and goes, oh fuck, and it just explodes, and like people just start dying. And you're like, just the realization of how bad it gets so fast. And like I was kind of like, you don't know what they're afraid of. No, you're like, why are they all skittish about? And so I thought there's so many things to be afraid of. Like I thought it was like in my head I was racing like, is it a zombie apocalypse? Is it like some kind of weird / the ways it follows you and like all the things going on there. It took over a car and it was driving a car at somebody. I was like, it doesn't have legs. It's like it hacked the car, but it can't reach the gas pedal. How is it doing this? And it's like sitting there like, I'm gonna get you, and then it just rams a car. It just like jacks into the cigarette lighter or whatever. Like but it just keeps going. It just rams into another car and then jumps into that car and it's like, I'm in your car now. It's like, get the fucking out. It's like Cartman's Trapper Keeper just assimilating everything. Yeah, I don't like the comedian Blue Bear episode where he's like, I'm gonna take down all the politicians with my persona of being a comedian that don't take no guff. And he's like a virtual reality bear, but he's bad. That's my problem. It's like the premise is fine, but he's not actually clever or interesting. Yeah, the bear isn't actually saying anything that's like hilarious or like off-putting or anything that's like, whoa, my goodness. Like he's just like you take the guy from the second episode that does the fucking Shard to My Neck show and have him and have that guy doing the bear, and suddenly he's going to be like the voice of a fucking generation, and then it's going to be really tragic when he gets unseated and just replaced because they don't know who's behind the scenes, and that's what happens in the episode. It's like he gets replaced by just somebody else when he doesn't want to do it anymore. But like, even then you're still just like kind of going back to the same message that episode had already. 10,000 Merits, which is my favorite episode. Really? Yeah. We've been over this, I think. Yeah. That's still my favorite episode. But that's what I'm saying, really, because like I'm surprised it's still my favorite episode. There's good ones. So my favorite episodes. I feel like you would have liked I feel like you would have been an avid fan of the last episode of the most recent season. The House of what? I don't know. I don't like their anthology episodes as much. The ones where it's like, here's like a grab bag of ideas in an episode.
I guess it just meant the ending was like, it's kind of a weird.
The ending was kind of all right, I guess.
I hated everything about that episode.
I don't know,
but
for me, I like 10,000 merits or 10 million merits or 15 billion merits or whatever the number is, because
I think it's one. I think it's one.
Remembering
I think it's 1 billion merits.
It might be 1 billion merits. I remember.
Or it's million.
I think it might be 15 billion merits. Something 15? About that's. It's the second episode.
Episode 2, season 1.
Find.
Yeah. It's the one with all the screens.
Yeah. I really like the one where you rate people.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I took it.
You have to remember which one it was.
Well, you said rate, and I thought you said rape, and I was like,
"That's
no.
Which
is that episode?"
No, the one where you're like Yelp reviewing every human.
Oh God, yeah.
And like it turns like it's this fucked up corrupt thing where like it's this.
And if your stars aren't high enough, then like
it's a rating system that creates a caste system within their society. Yeah. But also there's like a black lottery moment, or not black lottery. It's just the lottery. Yeah, I always call it black lottery for some reason. I think it's because it's like the black spot.
Very racist.
I think of like the black spot stuff that shows up in a completely different type of lottery thing, like the Jack Sparrow shit.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking of like black spots, which is a different thing. That's like a Davy Jones locker problem as opposed to the lottery where you draw. I think you just draw straws or slips or something.
That age old Davy Jones.
There's a black spot on the paper in the lottery.
Oh yeah, the black spot is
the short story lottery where like they stone you to death if you draw it, and then they did a South Park episode about that where they're like doing it for the harvest. They're like murdering Britney Spears and her head's blown up, and where they're still gonna go after him. Then like they hold up the sign for like the next harvest is going to be good, and it's like a picture of Lindsay Lohan as being like the next person they're gonna ruin basically societally. It's like that episode of South Park, but as a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, basically.
Because it devolves into her life just slowly collapsing, and everyone's just watching it happen, and everyone fully understands how the system works and how it fucks people, but it's not hurting them.
It's like the Purge.
Let it happen. Yeah, it's like the Purge, or it's even elements of like fucking like the Holocaust, even where like they would come after individual. Black Mirror is about the fucking darkness of humanity.
I know, but like it's like I'm over here like it's kind of like the Purge. Yeah. It's like the fucking Holocaust.
Well, it is. Whoa. I'm talking about that element of like how individual groups of the population would be persecuted one by one, and all the people that weren't being hurt would just let it happen.
Well, yeah, and I mean it's a thing of like
they came for the blank.
Yeah,
statement.
I mean we were talking about this before the podcast of like people always need that. They like enjoy the idea of there's somebody that's not them to hate. They like the idea that there's like somebody else suffers and it's not them, and they're like, ooh, that's okay. But then the moment it's them, they're like, everything is bad and I don't know why this system exists. And you're like, but you were a part of it and you would be okay with it if it wasn't you. Like, which is
like, a thing we do right now.
No, we don't.
We always do that.
No,
we're literally never not turning a blind eye to the suffering of humanity.
That's not what YouTube is.
Where do these come from? Where do those come from? We're surrounded by video games and screens and nightmares that are created by suicidal Chinese people.
I mean, it's fine. We put nets up. They can't kill themselves now.
That's a thing.
Now they're stuck.
Just in case you forgot. Just in case you forgot about the suicide nets. They put up nets in those factories so people would stop suiciding.
Yes,
now the nets will catch them.
And now they stay where they're really supposed to be and making phones forever. Hey, you know what? If it makes you feel any better, they're really talented people. They have a very, very specific skill set that can't be replicated by machines because otherwise they would have.
So dark, and I already did the Holocaust name drop, and it's just getting worse.
Yeah, so those are my three tops, and those are Keith is just like Black Mirror is cool. So.
It is a good show, but I really like the Rating People episode, 10 Million Merits, and San Junipero, which is just a good movie.
San Junipero is just like
if people aren't into Black Mirror, you could just bring it up. You could just air San Junipero as a movie to like your parents or whatever,
and they'd be like, that was nice.
With no context.
That was nice, honey. It's better than all those bad things you always watch. It's like, well, guess what? Next episode.
And then you just slowly transition them over to Neon Demon. And
someone's fucking a pig in this one. Yeah, San Junipero is I think for me I liked it because I'm a sucker for romantic stories like that.
Yeah,
I'm a real sucker if it's like well done. And
I also like that it's a world where weird crazy shit's happening and it's not explained.
Yeah, the whole time jumping thing was like, what?
You have to pick up on it.
Yeah,
like it's something that threw me off. Is I've been reading The Last Wish, which is the first Witcher novel.
Okay,
and he just does shit. Like Geralt just does shit in that movie. In that book, and you're like, I'm sorry, you just made the Quarren sign. The what? There's no intro. There's no like. there's no prologue chapter where they explain how the Master Chief happened and what the Spartan program is. Yeah. He just is a Witcher, and he just goes on a mission, and that's how the book just starts. And I mean, he's drinking potions that make him look like a monster.
It's
and like
compelling.
All this crazy shit's happening.
Does it not hook you in?
And it just goes, and you just have to figure out as it's going on what stuff even means.
Yeah,
and that's what San Junipero feels like, because you're like, and because
it starts out because it's immediately like a person jumping through time.
Yeah, they're just meeting in a club, and then she disappears, and you're like, where'd they go? It's not where, when, and then she just follows her to a different when. And you're like, what? You can do that?
Yeah,
it's like you expected like you expect some weird shit like, oh, there's a Black Mirror episode about like secretly the other person's a time traveler. It's like what it seems like at first.
Yeah.
Then you find out, oh no, they can both time travel. What?
Yeah,
because like she doesn't react like, oh no, what a crazy thing to say. Yeah. Like she knows exactly what he means because they can both time travel because this isn't a reality. She's like, the fuck? Like I love the.
It keeps going. I like that it keeps going further in certain ways, but then it also. I think what I like the most is that it has a message that isn't.
The way they unveil ideas over time is fun.
Yeah, like there's. Like I don't want to spoil anything.
Like they did that with the Star Trek episode.
Oh yeah,
where it starts off, you're in Star Trek land, and then you transition to these multiple stages of reality where you're like, oh, that's the context.
Yeah,
like a lot of the fun Black Mirror episodes start with a context where you don't actually fully understand where you are and what's happening yet.
Yeah,
and then the episode. A lot of the episode is you learning what the rest of the thing even is.
That's why I like
that happens.
That's why I love White Bear.
That happens.
White Bear,
don't say what happens in that one.
No, but like White Bear is my favorite because when you figure out what's going on, you like it's that moment where you're like sitting in your chair like, oh okay, well yeah, I guess it's about to end. It's like the end. What? It's like it just hits you all at once.
Like there's a lot of episodes like 10 Million Merits where you just know the reality immediately.
Yeah,
like that. Like 10 Million Merits is not tricking you.
No,
that's what that reality is.
Yeah,
and the pig fucking episode is just reality basically. Yeah, like it's just now.
Well, yeah,
and there's no twist. It's not secretly a reality, like some alternate reality or something. Like a lot of the episodes are just flat. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's
and so that which is what makes the twists effective for the other episodes is that you don't every time you go into an episode you don't know which one it is.
Yeah,
you don't know if it's an episode you take literally or not. And so there's a lot of episodes where there's like either a big reveal at the end that changes everything, or even like a multi-layer crazy series of reveals that keep recontextualizing, like the dating episode.
The dating episode is really
that kept getting weirder.
Was like really weird.
Fuck.
Yeah, like by the time I was at the end, I was like, it's like there's like so many layers going on, and then it like the very end of it, you're just like you're watching and you're like, I hope it works. Like I just don't know anymore because it sits there and it's like this is the information you now know, and I'm like, yeah. There's a lot of episodes like that, and I appreciate the idea that they don't just stick to like 10 billion merits and the pig fucking one, because this is like the worst episodes to me are those ones.
I love 10 million merits.
I know, but like I liked it up until the ending. The ending is what really upset me.
Just the sheer raw cynicism of the ending.
No, it's just like I think the thing that was like really upsetting was that he just didn't learn a lesson at all. He just like
he learned a lesson. Up. He learned the depressing lesson, which is that he like, succumbed to the system.
Yeah,
which is how that's a trend throughout history. Is like the story is like that about a super oppressive regime that ruins everyone's lives and everything. Like, and you're like. And you'll often have like a guy and a girl that meet each other, and then their love is being destroyed by the society around them.
Oh no.
And then two things always happen basically in these stories, which is either they succumb to the system or they die. Like 1984.
Yeah.
Like 1984 I think just ends with the idea with the game just the book just tells you like one day he's going to get shot in the back of the head by surprise. I think it's just going to happen one day. Like it's just a countdown,
or like Romeo.
And then I think the book just ends, right?
Yeah. Or Romeo and Juliet is the same way, same fucking premise, which is like overbearing.
But that's stupid. Well, Romeo and Juliet's stupid.
They're all usually stupid.
Well, I mean, the other ones are at least a societal problem as opposed to just two.
But the outcome is the same. People are just dumb. Like they make these two choices
because theirs was just like their local people. Like you could just leave. Like if your love's so strong,
you're not gonna leave when you're that rich.
That's the thing. Is like those guys are such shitheads. Like At least in 1984 and 10 Million Merits and a bunch of these shitty young adult novels, like it's an inescapable mega society that's like Divergent or whatever the fuck.
That reminds me of the fucking, what's that movie that came out where
nobody goes beyond the wall in Divergent and shit like that.
God damn it. What's that one movie? The one movie with the tests?
The tests? That's Divergent.
Is that Divergent?
That's the one where I'm divergent. I don't go into any of the groups.
No. The one where you have to get a certain amount of grade or else they just like kick you out. There was one, there's like, it's like a fucking weird planet or something that you have to get like top scores. And if you don't get top scores, they like just shuttle your ass to some like concentration camp. And like,
they're on a planet?
I don't know. I didn't watch it, but there's like,
well, thanks. Great.
Well, I'm saying, but there's like the whole point was like this girl is in love with this guy and the guy's an idiot. And so he fucked up on the test. And so like he was going to go to a concentration camp. So the girl flunks, but the girl is actually the daughter of the dean of the school. And he's like, well, I'm not going to send my daughter to a concentration camp. And she's like, well, then you can't send him either. And I was like, what is this like?
I want to see a dystopian society, like murder game scenario where at the end of the game, the rules actually kept through the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's always a subversion of the rules, like,
yeah, somebody always,
the way in.
like 999?
From 999 to Hunger Games to every single iteration of that. The thing they say at the beginning that's going to happen at the end never actually happens. It'd be kind of nice if the thing actually happened for once.
I think they always cop out on it just because they get worried that following through ruins it for the audience, because the audience is like, well, that sucks because I really cared about them.
No, I want commitment. I want that Black Mirror shit. I want that flavor.
That flavor.
Did I tell you my Ship of Theseus thing I want to have happen with Walking Dead?
Oh, yeah.
I want that show to become Ship of Theseus, where every single character is gone.
Yeah.
And just because like
it's been replaced with new like
it's amazing to watch season 1 of that show because every single character you see on screen in every scene is either completely different or literally dead. And literally every character, spoilers for Walking Dead a bit, I guess, here is that.
I mean, like years of spoilers.
So yeah,
catch up.
Years of spoilers and also ongoing, like literally now spoilers. But so we've hit the point now.
They're zombies.
We've hit the point now, Andrew. Every single character in Walking Dead besides Rick.
I was gonna say, isn't it just fucking Rick at this point?
Everyone besides Rick is either dead in the comic or the show.
Even his kid?
Yes. Both of his kids and his wife are dead in one or the other.
What's like the point of Rick? like what keeps him going?
So right now,
like really, what keeps him going?
Right now, the surviving characters in the show are Rick, a character they made up for the show. That's 2. They didn't make up Rick. Then the other 2 survivors are 2 characters that are both minor characters that had almost no screen time in the comics and died like kind of nonchalantly one day. Like one of them died in the fucking prison storyline. That's how long ago they died. But nowadays they're like the top characters of the whole show and everything.
Ooh.
Like Rick's married to a different person because in both versions his wife dies and he moves on to a different person. But the person's dead in the show. That's the person in the comic. So now he married a different person in the show. Not remarried, but like they're together with a different person. And like
basically fucking. There's no society.
And like in one version, Carl's dead, and the other version, the baby's dead. Because they machine gunned down Rick's wife while she was running with the baby, and she crushed her baby, is what happened in the comic. Because the comic does a lot of scenes they probably wouldn't do on television.
Oh, yeah.
Like the part where Michonne impales the governor's dick with her sword is a thing that happens. Yeah.
Okay.
They pull a lot of punches in the show.
Well,
for reasons I get, but also reasons I don't get.
Look, I don't think you want to toe the line that badly.
So here's an actual storyline from the comic. Is that the governor captures Michonne and Glenn, and he rapes and tortures Michonne for like a week while Glenn's in the other room just hearing it, and so he's just like this like gibbering mess of like collapsed insanity after just hearing this nonstop all week, and she's losing her goddamn mind. So what happens, and this is actually important to the story, is that when they come back later to do a strike against the governor's city, what happens is Michonne disobeys orders, disappears from the rest of the group, and goes on a revenge mission. Which you get because of what happened there.
Yes.
So he finds the governor's place. She finds the governor's place. The governor has her baby. I'm guessing every gender is wrong in the sentence. The governor has his daughter, which was a zombie, but it has like but they're like chained up because you can't kill her.
They're doing the fucking I get it. Yeah.
So Michonne kills his daughter, re-kills his daughter in front of him, and then like mutilates him and chops him up. I think one of his limbs comes off, and he like she stabs his dick, and like all this other shit's happening, like, and leaves him for dead, like as a bleeding, shredded mess. And then what happens is the governor, in response to that, does the big, like, I'm literally driving a tank into the prison attack that ends the prison storyline, where they have to evacuate the prison because it's being destroyed by a tank.
After he was chopped up?
Yeah, because he survives that and leads an attack on the prison, which leads to his death, and also several other characters' deaths, including Laurie falling on their baby, and getting machine gunned down and everything. It's a lot of fucked up stuff happens in the comic, and so I get why they would change stuff in the show to not show the a mother crushing her baby or dick chopping or literal rape. Yeah, you might want to not want to show on your AMC show. The problem is that in the show they change it so that Michonne still disobeys orders and goes on this mission for no reason and does all the shit that leads to, like, they kept the part where she causes everything that leads to leads to the governor like losing an eye.
They couldn't even insinuate it.
No,
like they couldn't insinuate like, oh, he captured me and like beat the shit out of me for a week. And,
yeah. So what they do is they remove literally all of Michonne's motivation.
And just make her a crazy person?
And they just make her a lunatic. Like, in the show's context, like, you're looking at character motivation, she's a brand new person because she actually was with the governor and Andrea and other people. She defects away from the governor's group because she gets she literally, because she just gets the creeps. She's like, I don't trust these people. She sneaks off and she just leaves, is her thing.
Okay.
And so she joins Rick's group, and she's new in this group now, like much newer than she was in the comic at that point. And so her whole goal should be, I just want to blend in, I just want to follow orders and earn their trust. They stop wanting to like kick me out and stuff like that. Should be her motivation. Yeah. But instead, she literally does the thing that makes them lose their entire home, which is the crazy thing that attacks the governor that leads to the entire final confrontation without any of the reasons for it. And like, so that's what's infuriating about the show, is that they'll change things. Like, I'm cool with the changes. I'm not cool with when they then change stuff, but then do the storyline anyway, that when they change the reason why it happened, but didn't give it a new reason and stuff like that. Like, you gotta pull a Zack Snyder. I don't say this often.
I don't say this literally ever.
I don't say this often. Zack Snyder. But you got to pull a Watchmen, where if you're going to change why a thing happens, you got to come up with another reason why it happens.
I think that's,
like, if you want to get rid of the nightmare psychic squid monster, then you make it a Dr. Manhattan bomb, and that's the reason why he leaves at the end of the movie. I'm going to take a stand here. I think that change is fine. People get mad about that change. You know about the Watchmen difference, right?
Yeah, but like, I'm just here like, hot take, squid thing was dumb. Yeah, because nuclear bomb was better.
Yeah, because in the Watchmen comic, they wipe out the city with a psychic squid exploding. Yeah. And then Dr. Manhattan's like, oh no, I'm bored, I'm leaving. In the movie, he uses a Dr. Manhattan inspired mega bomb, basically. Like, he learned from Dr. Manhattan how to make it, or base it on Dr. Manhattan or something like that. And because it was like Dr. Manhattan, he could blame it on Dr. Manhattan. Then Dr. Manhattan becomes this like alien threat. And so he just goes. All of mankind is divided against is united against Dr. Manhattan and the fear of this horrible monster that wiped out New York. And then he pieces out because he's like, I've been beaten, basically. And like, that fucking works. That's how you make a different version of a thing that also works. Walking Dead never does that.
No.
If they change something, but they do the storyline anyway, they just don't fill in the gaps.
Yeah, so that's why they need to just get rid of that's why you want them to get rid of all the characters.
Yeah.
So that way it's just its own
thing. On a regular basis, the characters that didn't exist in the comic are the best ones in the show.
Oh, okay, yeah, because they have the free creativity on them.
Yeah, like everyone loves Daryl Dixon. The guy that had the really bad video game? It's Merlin Durrell.
Yes. Merlin Earl.
It's Merlin Durrell in a game. What could be better?
God, that was a quote. It's a fucking quote.
I beat that game.
That's a quote from the goddamn trailer.
Game where they waste Michael Rooker.
They did, yeah.
They had Michael Rooker and didn't do shit with it.
Yeah.
God damn it. But yeah, Michael Rooker and Meryl and Daryl are those are decent characters in the show that don't exist at all in the comic. Carol is like the big badass like basically bounty hunter murder girl lady that's just, she's kicking serious ass, but she has all these conflicts because she's so dangerous that she literally she wants to go into like hermitude and escape society, because whenever she's in society, she's forced to fight, and she kills so many people that she's trying to escape society so she stops having to kill everybody. That's actually a plot line.
That's an insanely ridiculous plot line.
Whereas in the fucking show, in the comics, she just killed herself like at the beginning. She's just been gone. She killed herself at the beginning of the entire comic and has never been in the show, basically. And they're just a completely different character.
Wow, okay, then.
That's the kind of differences they have. And, like, Sasha was a fun character, too. And she was either a background character or someone that didn't exist. But she left to be the leader of the Star Trek show now. But, like...
that was a good call, babe,
but the fucking characters that they keep are so not good most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go because I don't remember how I got to this topic.
It's from the thing we were talking about.
I don't remember.
That's fine.
It's a podcast. We say things.
Yeah.
Talking. I spoiled every show.
All right.
Every show. That's
Let's
the title
see.
of the episode.
What's the next one?
Might not be the title of the episode. I might forget or not think it's a good title.
Hello. Hey guys. Do you think making Let's Plays on YouTube will continue to be a sustainable living for mid-sized channels in the coming years? What are your views on streaming as an alternative to traditional videos? What happened to all of the Unfriendment friends? Do you prefer cinnamon or butterscotch? Will Keith ever finish Undertale?
You just had to read that one. Gotta take them in order, right?
Yeah.
Will it be sustainable? No one fucking knows.
I'm gonna throw my hot take in. No. You'll be lucky if YouTube is actually sustainable in the next 10 years. Like, at all. Like, I think YouTube will just cease to exist.
Well, they said coming years. 10 years is still within. I don't know.
I mean, okay, coming year, 5 years, YouTube is going to be basically a TV channel. Like, it's just going to be a TV station.
Yeah.
And if you don't conform to what works for YouTube and YouTube Red monetary, like, whatever.
It's hard to say what'll happen.
And I'm not saying that it's not going to be creative. I mean, something will rise in the void. That's how it always works. Something will rise from the void and, like, fill it. But I'm saying, like, I think YouTube's trying its best to gear away from all of you weirdos who go and make, like, meme videos on YouTube.
It's hard to say just because, like, the economy always changes.
The economy.
No, I don't mean the economy, but, like... how money works within this stuff changes, like
how they profit, how they lose money,
look at Rooster Teeth and how their ways of monetizing change like every year.
Yeah,
like now we're getting shirts. Now this they used to call it sponsorship program. You would sponsor Rooster Teeth. They changed the name to First at some point. But like people have Patreons, people sell merch. As far as
that's what I mean. So like
a lot of people will be able to make their money if they just have an audience.
Yeah,
even if they can't make ad money anymore.
And that's
then that becomes a question of, can they still make the videos on YouTube, or will YouTube no longer let their videos exist in the first place?
Yeah, that's, I mean, honestly...
Because even with the Adpocalypse, you can make money. Although with all this Adpocalypse stuff that's been happening, like me and Wander have been making more money than ever before during all this chaos where we're supposed to not make any more money.
It's because I think it's less about... It's very particular content that they're going after, and it's mostly stuff that it's mostly stuff that's deemed like, this is too many hot takes in one video, demonetized. And it's like, but you know, if you're sitting there playing,
I mean, almost every video I upload at some point gets like a yellow $ saying like it's not suitable for everyone.
But the bot
but also you don't know what everyone means.
Yeah.
Like there's suitable for everyone, suitable for no one, and then the yellow.
Yeah.
Which is like, is it suitable for 90% of audiences or 10% of? You don't know what the yellow means, so it's kind of useless information.
So let's see. What are your views on streaming as an alternative to traditional videos?
I don't like streaming.
I don't very much. I don't really care about streaming one way or another. I find myself, I'll stream every now and again on Twitch playing Overwatch just to like relax.
Yeah.
But it's not, I'm not like Wander level where people, like there's so many people showing up and talking and I have to be interactive with people. I'm just sitting there being bad at Overwatch live. And that's all I do. So I don't really know. I see stream, like I'll watch people who stream, but my question always goes back to your question, which is like, why are you doing this? This is really fucking dumb. Like,
yeah, like I have a thing where like
it seems so weird because people are just shouting at you live.
I'm cool with an explicit like Q&A style thing, whether it's like a literal just only a Q&A or like I'm
IRL
or like I'm playing games while talking to chat and answering questions, and that's the premise. But like as a Let's Play, there's basically no upside to it being streamed.
Absolutely, yes.
Like I don't understand why people I look at Wander's audience because that's the number one live audience I interface with, because I have a friend who streams and has an audience. Which
and
is
when
like,
you do cooperative stuff with him,
well, not even that, just every now and then I'll tune in because I have a friend who's live. And like that's my primary appeal for streams is like I'll literally watch Andrew existing right now because I know that person and he's my friend, and I'm just checking in on my friend. And
I watch a bunch of titty streamers.
Like I'll just tune in on a friend real quick, and I won't really watch the stream itself because it's boring. But
because it's content you don't really like.
There's nothing particular entertaining about watching a stream anyway. But I'll check in every now and then. But when I'm checking in on like Wander, like I see all these people who are like, oh, did I miss that game? Oh, when are you gonna play this game? And oh, what time is I'm not gonna be up that late. I'm like, there's a whole idea that people came up with like in 2006 where like you put a video up and it's just there forever and you can just watch it.
People are really weird about like accounts and making accounts on different places and watching content in different ways. It's like
I don't understand the appeal of it being live so you can miss it now. Like that's I stopped watching cable on purpose because I don't want to deal with scheduled television. I just want to watch it when I feel like it.
What's it called? I watch the Overwatch God, that's such a fucking dumb name. I watch the Overwatch
You wanted Overwatch? You're gonna be ready to snipe somebody when they walk in?
No, I'm saying I watch the Overwatch League. And sometimes I can't catch it live. Sometimes I just don't. I'm busy doing stuff because I have a life. Yeah. But you know what's nice? They upload every single match onto Twitch, and then I can just watch that later. It's literally still on Twitch. It's just a VOD. You can go back and watch again.
I don't see the appeal of stuff being live. I don't get it.
Like, being live is just a courtesy. Like, it's saying, hey, if you want to show up and watch me do this in the moment, that's cool. If not, it will still be there on the site. Just go watch it.
I guess there could be, like, an event. Like, oh, I'm going to do this crazy run for charity, and am I going to make it? Like, that's, like, an event thing. But for average content, it's like, hey, I'm playing Hammerwatch again or something like that. And it's like, okay, all right.
It's like, what, episode 12 of, like, 1 million? You can just watch that later.
I don't see a reason to watch it live versus not live if it's like a Let's Play. And like, the live element almost always just makes the thing worse because the person acknowledging the audience almost always makes things worse, especially since the audience just wants shout-outs half the time.
Yeah.
And like, as far as I can tell, the big streamers are people who just constantly acknowledge their audience. Like, oh hi, thanks for 12 months, thanks for 6 months, thanks for 4 months. Thanks for the 10-minute, thanks for the $10 donation. And then like the bits fall into the thing, and I'm like, when did celebrity telethons become a primary form of entertainment?
Right?
Like, if you call in, you might get to say hi to Matt Damon as you donate to Alzheimer's. And it's like, that's now we're just donating to some like 22-year-old's wallet directly, and they're thanking us, and that's the whole show.
But it's like we get the social recognition that's like, hey, look, my name, and that person said my name on the Twitch to like thousands of people.
Weird. I only get it when it's like an event, like this one day we're doing Extra Life, and it's weird that we're doing this today. But like when it's every day, it's like, just keep giving me money and I'll say your name, and that's the show. And I'm like,
I do.
When does the personality come through? But if they're doing their personality and just doing commentary and just playing the game, then it doesn't matter that's live, because then that's just a YouTube video at that point.
Pretty much.
So I'm like, there's no good part of the streaming part except for when you're just doing a Q&A thing.
See, I have fun because I have when you have Amazon Prime, because Amazon owns Twitch.
Yeah.
When you have Amazon Prime, you're allowed to subscribe to a channel for free every month.
Yeah.
And so I'll go
so people thank you for a thing you didn't even pay for.
So I'll go to people's channels. Basically. Like, I'll go to big channels just to be a dick. I'll go to big channels that have like, the most.
Do you do like a message?
No, I just I just press the nope, I'm gonna subscribe. So then my name shows up on their stream with like hundreds and thousands of people watching. It's like, now I feel satisfaction without having to pay for it.
Yeah, for me, streaming literally its only purpose is to do like basically a podcast. Like the one streamer that I watch as a stream where I'm like, this is all right, is I'll watch Previously Recorded, which is the Red Letter Media gaming channel, but I'll specifically watch it just when Jay comes by. Because then it's the three of them. It's Rich, Jack, and Jay all together, and that's when they're in the most conversational mode, and they're just having conversations that are basically being prompted by chat. Yeah, nonstop. It's just fun. It's just a nonstop podcast set to a video game, where sometimes something in the video game draws comment, but largely they're just podcasting, and chat questions / mentions are kind of giving them an infinite thing to talk about.
Yeah,
and it just flows forever.
The chat is basically a conversation machine, and the nice part is that the personalities that you're there for are talking about the topics that you want to hear them talk about, which is like, that's the perfect symmetry of stuff. But you know what's not is when you're just like so focused on the content, where you're saying like, you're doing this wrong, or play this game, or blah. That's not interesting for anybody. It's not interesting for the audience reading the chat. It's not interesting for the person playing the game. Like, it's when you ask questions of a streamer, it's way more engaging for everyone involved than it would be if you just like, which is all what Twitch devolves into, is people shouting into the void, hoping for either recognition, to criticize somebody, or like they want something. It's like they want something, but it's never anything that benefits everyone else. It's benefiting them.
And then if we talk as being like content creators as opposed to being an audience member, which is what I've been talking about this whole time, was like my perspective on why I'd want to watch streams, which is that that's the only example, and everything else sucks.
Yeah.
I hate streams. I hate watching them. As far as making streams go, like, it creates a new, different problem, which is that it becomes an unfiltered direct interaction between audience and creator.
Yes.
And the audience can be really shitty.
They can tire you out real quick.
Yeah.
They can like ruin the entire run real fast.
People can be like just awful. And like there's always like, and people always like, there's a whole like Reddit dedicated to like Twitch fails and stuff like that, which is like, oh man, look at that guy went off on a guy, and like, so people are just like baiting at that point, and like that's a whole dark part of that. But ignoring all the dark baiting shit, just normal interactions also like just lead to dark moments where like I have said things during streams to audience members in response to what they say that has led to them like not wanting to watch my stuff anymore, and it's like a not happy moment for everybody. And it's like, this unfiltered interaction that's live is like, there's no real upside to it. Like I don't even say awful things. I'm not like insulting people and going off on people and like having like a rant against them. It's just like, your live reaction to a comment can have a terrible response to someone that just wants to have like an interaction, because like maybe like the never meet your heroes or whatever thing, where it's like people want to interact with you, and then they don't like, then their response is negative.
Yeah,
but it's like, but I'm honest. I'm an honest person, and that's like supposed to be part of the appeal of the videos. Is like. I'm just talking about like when I make the videos, like speaking my mind frankly all the time is like what I do.
That's fine.
But
not on Twitch.
That's the problem, is you can't talk to people live without like constantly like stepping on the wrong direction and stuff like that, or like reacting. Unless
you're big enough where it doesn't matter, like you'll have enough people on your side to not be upset at the
especially
thing you
since
say.
Like a lot of YouTube audience people can only respond. They only know how to interact negatively to the thing they like. Like they'll watch you every day and they love your stuff, but all they can ever do is leave like backseat gaming comments or complaints, or basically just talking about how you're like unobservant and stupid and stuff like that, but like every day, and they're so obsessively watching you and supporting you on Patreon and shit that like they clearly like you, but the only way they ever talk to you is like you suck, and it's like, and that's the only way that they know how to say things is to have negative feedback.
It's pretty much my entire friendship with Naya.
Like so I had an interaction with somebody where somebody started criticizing something like, oh great, what did I do wrong this time? And it's like, I can't believe you think of me like that. And I'm like, it's what all your comments are. And that guy never came back. And I'm like, I didn't insult him. I'm just like
pointing out that he is in fact doing.
I'm pointing a mirror at the way you talk to me.
Yeah,
and you don't. And so I'm like,
that's the thing though. It's like I think people forget that a content creator is. It's like,
I'm just a person,
but a content creator.
You gotta think about all the things you say that is directed at a person.
But a content creator isn't like Bruce Willis, where like when you say mean things of Bruce Willis, it's like. It's shit. It's like utter nothingness to him. Because Bruce Willis, 1, will never actually hear you say those things to him. 2, Bruce Willis lives in a mansion that is so fortified that it would be ridiculous for you to even shout at him and he could hear it. And 3, he's fucking Bruce Willis. Like, he don't give a shit. But the point is
you just want to talk about Bruce Willis.
Yeah, but the point is that a regular person, like a regular content creator, is just like you, except they're making something. They're sitting in a room, and when you say something to them,
you can go on about Twitter about Matt Damon all you want. He'll never even hear it.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever.
Wait, you think Matt Damon's Twitter feed is so empty that he has nobody mentioning him?
Whereas
Bullshit.
like our YouTube channels are literally our like social media platforms, and you're basically talking about us on our MySpace page to us.
Yeah.
Which is always funny. Was like there's always the moment where the guy like is basically turning his back to you and saying like, "Oh man, I can't believe what this guy is doing," and stuff like that. Like not even acknowledge the comments, not even directed at you, but at other audience members. But
the fact that it's
phrased as if you're the one that will never see it, and it's like, no, I'm the first one who sees it. I'm right here.
Think of it this way.
I get notifications, you fuck.
Yeah. Think of it this way. If you can't visualize it, imagine going to a party at someone's house and you're talking shit to the person, or you're talking shit about the person whose house you're at enjoying the party at. So like, and you're not talking to them directly. You're just talking to a friend of yours saying like, man, this fucking guy has the shittiest house ever. And you're sitting there in his house literally while he's standing there, and he can hear you clearly.
Yep.
And you're just...
And the reason I'm salty about this, by the way, is like this morning I had like a chain of like 30 consecutive comments that are just all about how stupid I am. And they're all for different games. That's the fun singularity, is when you make a giant library of like dozens of completed games, you get yelled at for all of them at the same time. So like people are mad that I'm not using Amrita correctly to fill my soul gauge in like Neo, and I'm like, I haven't touched that game for like a year. This guy's like getting mad at me in like 15 consecutive videos about that. But then somebody else like, I can't believe he doesn't realize you can lock on in that game, and when is he gonna realize that that thing's only vulnerable to fire? And it's like that one ProZD video.
Oh yeah.
It's like, why isn't he using the fire weapon? Don't they know that it's weak to fire? What are they doing? I love that video. It's like one of the only ProZD videos that's in my recommended playlist is full of like video essays and like treatises on the Bible and all this crazy like multi-hour crazy thing, and then just that one ProZD video's in there. Like it's like 700 flavors of that.
And you think of it in
and nothing about that being live improves the video.
Yeah. And you have to think in a certain sense, like look at Keith's numbers and how many comments are per video. Like look at the numbers of how many comments are per video. Now go to someone like PewDiePie's video.
Oh, Jesus.
And just fucking...
Oh yeah, when PewDiePie or anyone with a million subscribers says they read every comment, they're lying to you.
Could you imagine? PewDiePie does. He just literally has blocked 90% of his followers, and he reads like 3 comments from people, and he's like, yeah, I read all your comments, guys. Like, there's no way.
All the large channels that say they read every comment are lying because it's impossible. Like,
a good example
already at my size, I'm like the time commitment where like I go to my dashboard page for the comments and I like hit refresh, and I remember the last comment that was on top, and I'll scroll down to that one and then go up from there to read where I left off, like a Twitter page, which by the way, the YouTube dashboard is not designed for you to read every comment as it's coming in anyway. There's no system in place to actually find them. I have to do that shit where like I scroll down, I'll hit load more over and over again, and then I'll just be looking for the one comment that used to be on top, and then when I reach that, I'll make my way back up to the top chronologically.
I think it's easier if you hone it in by video.
Which, by the way, they're now. But even then, if you're doing that, that means that like every comment on old videos is invisible to you.
Yes.
Which is why I get constant videos like, I know you're not going to read this because it's an old video. I'm like, fuck you. I use the dashboard. I can see everything. I can see everything.
I mean,
it's not really helpful.
In perspective, like wasn't that like one of the major things that Total Biscuit talked about? Was he was like, I can't read your comments. They fucking destroy me.
Oh yeah, Total Biscuit hit all those comments, and I totally support anyone who blocks comments. It's completely reasonable. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it, as much as people act like you're like destroying their free speech or something like that. He does a show where he says his opinions about shit, and he's dying of cancer, which maybe you guys gave it to him. Like, Jesus Christ. The amount of hate and death threats and stuff directed at a guy who has opinions about frame rates.
Fucking opinions. It's just like, I think you could have done better on the graphic knobs. Like, he just says like, I don't like how you have to click 2 buttons to change one setting, and people are like, fuck you, Total Biscuit, kill yourself. And it's like, what?
The vanilla ass content he makes, the amount of hate that he gets for it, I'm like, holy fuck, internet.
Like, there's literally
get your shit together.
There's like literally Nazis on the platform, and like Total Biscuit's like 60 frames per second. I don't think this game's really that great. Oh my god, Total Biscuit's a fucking lunatic. Kill him. Like, it's like, okay, guys, like, please calm it down. I 100%.
This guy that's dying of cancer might not want to deal with daily negativity all the time, so maybe he'll stop interfacing with comments. And he gets it on comments.
Every platform. It's Twitter, like, Jesus like Christ. YouTube, everything. And you have to think about that,
like, people are relentless.
Could you imagine walking down the street and there's like there's like literally the what's it called think of it in the sense of like back in the time for the fucking what's the word I'm looking for, the fucking when everybody hated black people, what is that? I forgot the name of it. It just slipped out of my head.
What?
The thing
Wait,
when they wouldn't let black
I missed half your sentence.
segregation. There's the word I'm looking for.
Oh, just the concept of segregation.
Yeah, no, during like the height of segregation.
I thought you were going to talk about like 3 years ago when something was happening or something. Like I'm like, what hashtag did I miss?
Basically,
What's
it's
happening?
like for Total Biscuit, it's like back when like segregation was at its height and they were trying to like, hey, everyone could just go to the same school. Remember they had those like rows of people like just for the kids walking outside, like walking to the school. That's like what it is for Total Biscuit when he like opens any social media platform. It's rows of people and they're just saying, fuck you, you piece of shit. And it's like, why would you want to endure that? Why would you want to walk down that way? And he does. Total Biscuit does. He walks through and says like, everyone send me dog pictures. I gotta hate all
say,
of
like,
you.
if you think you're genuinely mad at Total Biscuit for like any reason,
fuck you.
Like genuinely, like it's important to you that he knows how mad you are. You need to like reorder your life. You got shit to you got shit to reevaluate. I'm not saying get agree with people on everything or even like people, but if you're actually mad at someone like that, who does nothing that hurts anyone really, it's like you are like compartmentalizing some shit where like you have something, you probably have something that's wrong with your life. You don't want to address that.
Absolutely.
So you've picked a new topic to be mad about that doesn't really matter.
Like, it's like, here's the thing. Am I mad? Am I like, do I get really upset when somebody says like the Holocaust didn't happen? Yeah, I get kind of upset. Say like, how dare you? Do I like send them death threats? No. Like when someone says
I don't like someone, I just don't watch them.
When someone says I don't think this game's good because it's at 30 frames per second, I literally just go, okay, whatever. It's a fucking like the most unthreatening thing ever. There's one person that's saying history didn't happen, and he's trying to convince people that. There's another guy that says like, I just don't like this game.
And if you're about to like respond like, oh, but I have a link to a Twitter conversation where he said something mean once to somebody or something. It's like fucking
yeah. He's a cynical Brit. That's literally his name on YouTube. Is like cynical Brit.
Like I've never seen an example of why people are mad at some of these people that makes sense, especially in a world where like. A world filled with like Logan Pauls and Keemstars and shit.
In a world with Logan Pauls,
like with all these garbage humans.
What a terrible movie, by the way.
Like, with the number of garbage humans that exist, the idea that you're mad at somebody because they have
hot take. Keith is calling Keemstar garbage. Are you gonna box him?
What? The idea that you're like mad at like Total Biscuit or like Polygon or something because like they say things you don't like about video games. Sometimes I'm like, fucking get it together. It's really concerning that there was like a cottage industry about like being mad at Anita Sarkeesian. like there's one channel, they made videos about feminism and video games, and you could agree with them or not agree with them, and or like you could agree with some of the messages but then think that their approach is wrong.
Literally
like,
just not watch them. Like that's what Andrew did. Andrew watched like one video and was like, oh, she just doesn't know what she's talking about. I just won't watch these. And moved on with my life.
I've watched all of them, and some of them are informative and some of them are like, what is this? And like it's like they just exist and they're all there. In a world with billions of video essays, it's just your mirror's falling down.
Don't do it.
You should go grab that before it makes the loudest sound. There you go. Like in the world of so many billions of video essays that are both good and bad, the idea that like there are like 500 like skeptic channels that have like weekly videos that are anti-Sarkeesian over and over again, and they're getting millions and millions of views and literally making their living off of making people angry at a person who doesn't even upload videos most of the time.
No, she just does like talks and stuff.
What the fuck? She literally uploads a video like every 6 months.
It's tough.
But a channel that makes a living off of hating her will upload a video like every 6 days over and over again, and she hasn't even said anything yet. And like I just make up new things, and it's like
I think the hard part is that
they've monetized bile.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is like
they've monetized bile.
Okay, the point is like okay, and you're always
toxicity. It's like a way of making
in our city.
Internet toxicity has actually become people's income now. It's like
okay. First off, people's toxicity has been an income industry forever. It's a growing industry, by the way. Have you not seen politics? But
oh god,
the idea that people can be so vilely toxic to the most
you said internets and politics, and I'm just thinking about how like at Facebook and like just the continuous ritual of like encountering a family member who's posting a thing that's just not even vaguely true.
Yeah.
And you look at their source and you actually research it and you're like, yeah, by the way, this entire news source you use, you should just unsubscribe from it because it's like not even a vaguely reliable source. It's some asshole that's making stuff up on a
basically
blog.
like The Onion, but taken seriously.
Yeah, like, and just that loop of like how like all these people monetize just lies and bile, and like it's like that CGP Grey video. This video will make you angry.
Yeah,
one of my favorite videos ever made on the internet, basically, because it just explains concisely this idea of like how people will, no matter where you go, there's two opposing sides that are angry at each other, and the two sides make up a completely fictional version of the other side and just yell at that idea. And that idea is so perfect and so maddening, and it has all the worst characteristics they could possibly have to be mad at, because they made it up!
Yeah.
And everyone does that about Republicans and Democrats and feminists and everyone. And like, so every part of YouTube is a bunch of groups. All the angry parts of YouTube are like, this guy and that guy are yelling at each other, but not actually at each other, yelling at the idea of each other. And like, holy shit, so much of this would fall apart. Like all the anti-Sarkeesian channels would fall apart if like, the audience just watched her videos and you're like, oh, that was it. That's all it was. That was like nothing.
Yeah, I just don't care.
Wow.
Or for audience members just stopped caring about a person that they don't like.
Yeah.
Like
there's such
look here.
But no, now we've got drama channels, drama alert.
Yeah, it's like
gotta mobilize my audience and all of their bile to ruin someone's life. Let's start doxing people.
It's confusing to me because I look at it in a perspective like I am somebody who follows politics, but I'm not somebody who gets consumed by it. Like I can go, oh, I don't like that policy. Maybe next term I'm gonna make sure that person doesn't ever have a job again. But like I'm not going to literally send anthrax to the governor, like the governor who passed a law.
Like
and that's what comments are when they're like hate speech and death threat comments is the same thing as if you send anthrax to somebody that you don't like. It's like, why are you this angry about a person that you can just stop? You know how you make Total Biscuit stop existing? Don't subscribe and watch his videos. When he doesn't
if you just stop looking at him, he functionally
if you
ceases
stop
to
giving
exist.
him money, which is done by you interacting with his content, then he no longer can sustain the thing that you hate.
This is the thing where like I pray and would love to think that like no one in my audience is the people I'm talking about here, but
they are.
But yeah, well,
all of them are.
Someone will be at least.
All of them are.
No, not all of them.
I'm calling you all out.
He's being a dick because that's
Fight
what he
me!
does. Fight me! I'm the next one. Make me next.
Make me famous. Give me cancer.
It's just a thing where like if you are subscribed to somebody on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, that all they do is just point out the next thing to be angry about every day or every week, and that's what they do. Like, they're making a living off of that, which means they have to find something to be angry at. And at some point, they just start making shit up.
Spoiler alert, they're actually not angry at that thing that they're saying they're angry about. In case you weren't aware. Like, they actually aren't angry.
Oh, yeah, they're not actually angry. They're just making shit up. It's
you think these people live in a perpetual state of fucking hate all the time?
It's like that,
the guy who, like, I hate everything, he doesn't literally live with a fucking scowl on his face. He's fine.
That's a cartoon character.
Yeah, that's a persona.
It's like the Armored Skeptic video about, like, Bill Nye.
Yeah,
where he's like if you know about video editing, you're like looking at like, oh yeah, he's muting shit and he's rearranging scenes and he's editing out all the parts that counteract the thing he's saying, and he's just assuming his audience won't watch the thing and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of different channels that just are about making up a new narrative to be mad about.
And sometimes you can watch those videos and it's just nonsense. Like it's a video that's made that doesn't even need to be made. Like why do you need to get mad at a flat earther? I don't know. Because it's funny content, I guess. You're making content, you're making something people would want to watch, but he's not legitimately invested into this.
Just question your media. Yeah. Question why they're making the videos they are, what their goal is, and whether or not they're just making your life worse and monetizing it.
Or just do me a favor and for every one hate channel you subscribe to like 2 happy channels. Like there are some people who make like nice wholesome content. It's like I'm gonna like share with you my day and it was good and I touched a dog.
Go subscribe to Vlogbrothers or Creel Games or something.
Just like subscribe to someone so unrisky, some just like regular person who's just having a good time with their life and enjoy their content, and then just like be happy because you're not watching someone be hateful all the time. Like for fuck's sake. Like I don't know. Like I hate everything as it is, but I don't have time to watch other people tell me what to hate. I can't absorb that much more hatred in my life. Like for like God,
this got so off the rails.
But in any case, yeah, I don't think YouTube.
We're not characterizing my entire audience as being what we're talking about. We just got on a lot of tangents. So just to be clear, that's not all directed literally at you.
Basically,
we just kept going off on forks and then I don't remember the chain anymore.
The point is that YouTube won't be sustainable for mid-level channels in a couple of years.
Was that the question?
Yeah. Well, it was
about streams.
Yeah, about streams. But to answer your other question, what happened to all the Unfairment friends? They're all dead.
They're
what
all
happened
dead. Yeah,
to,
we buried them, and the dog sometimes digs them up and brings them back. And that's how.
And then we do another Unfairment. Heyo!
Yeah, but it smells bad.
But it's actually just me and Keith because they're dead. So then we just call them Let's Tries.
My take on comments is that I think comments are really useful when you're a small channel because they
can help you grow.
What's really discouraging, and I know this because we lived it for years, was just making videos and nobody comments on them at all. It's like you sat there for 15 minutes or 30 minutes and you record the video and then you render it and you upload it and make a thumbnail and do all that other stuff, and it's like I got 10 views and a like, and it's like so eventually it's like I got 60 views and 10 likes maybe or 5 likes, and it's like no one's comment. For the longest time nobody was commenting on sad games when we were making videos. It's so it's definitely comments feel more real than views and likes and everything.
Yeah.
That's fun to have interaction and an audience.
Genuinely, here's the thing: is to go on your point is if you're watching someone's content, and even if you don't feel like you have anything, comment sections aren't for constructive criticism. By the way, let me just explain
Not that most people even do constructive criticism. No, they mostly do I want to feel smarter than you.
Yeah, but
here's my comment about how I'm smarter than you.
The comment section isn't for critique. It's not meant just to
it's for anything technically.
It's for anything. If you liked a video, even if you click the like button, just say, "Hey, I liked your video." That's it. Because you don't understand how empowering that feels as a content creator to hear someone just go "Hey, I like you." Whoever said that in the sea of hate, I love you. Thank you. That is a good
tell
feeling.
All of your small content creators that you subscribe to how much you like them, and if you don't know any 4-digit or smaller subscriber count YouTube channels, maybe look for some of them.
And say nice things about them if you actually genuinely like them.
And some of them are making good stuff, and they don't. Nobody's saying things in their videos.
And
they're just in silence.
Or if they are saying things, they're negative, and those poor people are living in a sea of hate.
Like Wanderbot right now has 150,000 subscribers or something like that.
Yeah.
I lose track of it because it keeps growing.
It's around there.
Growing
I think he's almost
fast.
He's almost around 200.
But I found his channel when he was uploading 3 to 6 videos a day, and he was 100 episodes into Sleeping Dogs and Psychonauts and Kingdoms of Amalur. And he's uploading multiple videos a day that had 0 views. You go to his page and you see the video. It wouldn't say number of views. It would say no views.
It would say no views.
It actually would say that.
Yeah, I remember that.
A thing it's hard to find on the internet on YouTube because how do you find those videos before anyone watches them?
Yeah.
And when you click on them, it stops being that. But that was the state it was in. And when you're at that size, you want comments because it pushes you forward.
Yeah, anything. Even if it's just someone saying, like I said, even if it's just someone saying, "Hey, I really like this video. Keep it up." It's better than nothing. It's better than sitting in the void and going either people are watching and then turning it off immediately, or they just watch it and don't. I don't
want to ever sound ungrateful because that.
Comments are the best.
Yeah, it got both of us as far as we've gotten. Yeah. It's gotten me as far as I've gotten. That's how you get the idea to keep going, is the idea that people are actually watching and shit like that. And there's a bunch of comments that are great, and people in the Discord are great, and a bunch of stuff's going on there where it's you have an audience interaction that's good. But even at my size already, it's the sheer volume of comments can become noise.
It can.
Just trying to get through them all. And the number of negative comments
is
always shockingly high.
Oh yeah,
because nobody does really just step in to just say I like this video or anything like that, or even the Vlogbrothers tried to come up with a thing to do that because nobody knows how to express just liking a thing because they have to write out a thing. And
they feel like they have to write an essay for it.
Yeah, so the idea the Vlogbrothers idea was that you just comment with a plus sign. When you want to have a positive feedback, but you don't actually know what to say, just to show that you're there to outweigh all the negativity. Because you upload a video and just all 30 comments are just what you did wrong. Oftentimes they're all the same thing, as like they all have to repeat each other over and over again.
It's all the same mistake, and that it's a mistake that you already know because you edited the video by watching it.
Like this is a really vanilla thing, because like this is an actual thing I did wrong or an actual comment I'm mad about, but it's just the most recent thing that just happened is that like I hit a part in Monster Hunter where it's like I hit what seemed to be like maybe the post game or whatever. Like, this isn't the post game. This is just the halfway point. Says 50 people.
Yeah.
One by one over and over again. I'm like,
hey,
holy
guys,
fuck. It's one comment over and over again. But that happens every time a bad thing happens. You do anything dumb or you make a mistake or like you mess up and like you try to do that one horseback part of Twilight Princess with the carriage that you have to stop from being burned down, but you try to do the entire thing with just the bow because they just had you doing the bow a second ago during the bridge thing. So you're not thinking about the fact you have a sword, so you're trying to shoot them all with the bow and it's not working, and like, just use your sword. And then you get 50 comments about that same thing over and over again.
I mean, like, I'm okay.
Even when it's not an overtly negative thing, but just like, here's the thing you did wrong. It's like the volume is like a tough thing to deal with. And that's why I don't want to stream, is like, I don't want to deal with that live. Like I can buffer between here's me reading comments, I'm gonna go eat breakfast, and then I'm gonna go record shit, and like I can buffer it. But when it's live, it's like I gotta deal with people like telling me, how stupid I am in real time.
Yeah, while
like, I can't believe you're this stupid, I say to the content creator I like and watch every day.
As he's in the middle of creating said content that I'm watching.
Yeah,
like because live, you're in the middle of making. If you make a mistake live, like 4 other people will say it to you immediately. Like, what can you do but go like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah, and it's like you're not. It's not like I hate you and you need to die and you're a garbage human being.
Yeah.
It's not like the comments they are.
No,
like you go to the Game Grumps videos and like all the comments are about all the mistakes that Aaron's making and all that, and how dumb he is and stuff like that. And it's like it feels harmless. Like it's the joke. Like, isn't it funny how dumb he is? But he's got to read those comments. Isn't it great how there's a no? I mean, I'm saying like that's why they don't read those comments.
No,
anymore.
I know. I'm saying like Game Grumps makes enough money. I would just pay someone to deal with that, like the carbon thing. Even when you just shuffle out all the negative stuff, Butters, and give me all the positive.
Even when it's fun and harmless, and it's not like, oh, you're a garbage human being.
It's not malicious. Yeah,
like it's not malicious. It's just like, isn't it funny how he always makes his mistakes?
Yeah.
As the content creator, you still got to read like the thousands of comments about how dumb you are and how it's so funny how dumb you are, and it's a running gag how dumb you are.
That joke never gets old.
It's like
it's never not funny to keep saying the same joke over 1,000,000 times. Trust me.
I don't mean the memeing part. Is just the part where it's like, it's no one like. It's not fun to read that.
But it's a negative meme.
Yeah.
Like when it's a negative meme, it's like, I get it. I suck. Thank you guys. Did anybody enjoy the video? I did. Thank you. I like you. Like that's.
I'll never begrudge people eventually tuning out because like. You start.
Oh yeah, no, you can't.
At small size, the comments are interfaceable. They're at a scale you can interact with as a human, but they hit a rank where not only is it too much to deal with, like as far as like interacting with them all individually time wise. Like I used to respond to every comment.
Yeah,
which was hard.
I do.
It's hard. It was hard to even think of things to say in response to a lot of the comments back then, because it's like trying to write a Hallmark card over and over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, but at some point, there's too many to respond to time wise. But it goes well beyond that. It goes beyond like what we're evolved to interface with socially.
Oh yeah.
Like you think about like tribal humans, stuff like that, like the idea of having a few dozen people in your life, and like what do you do when there's hundreds of people talking at you all the time? And so it's like. I still draw power from like the knowledge that group exists, and like, oh my god, my audience, how is this happening? And like, but like I have to abstract it on some level, and then just pick out a handful of people that I remember more. Like there's a handful of commenters that I remember more than the other ones, and they're familiar faces.
It helps if you go in the Discord and use the same avatar.
Oh yeah, people that keep changing their fucking names.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I have like there's like celebrity audience members basically. That are the people that I know better, and I'm happy to see them still around.
Yeah.
Especially ones that I remember from when I was below 1,000 subscribers. I'm like, oh shit, that guy's still around. Then I'll recognize that same person in like a different larger YouTuber's comment section. I'm like, oh, this is flattering. Like he subscribes to that person than me, and like their videos are next to each other, and like that's the cross section. Like that's all cool. But I got to pick and choose and like kind of phase out a lot of people because like I can't process this many humans.
You heard them, boys. Time to fight to the death. Who's gonna be the best?
It's rough. It's weird, and like I totally get why.
Yeah, I get why Total Biscuit turns off his comments. I get why some people just
stop reading them.
Yeah,
which is what I would do. I wouldn't turn them off, but like.
Well, I mean, I think at some point it's just like it's counterproductive
back away over time.
Yeah, well, for Total Biscuit, it's just counterproductive at all. Like, there's no point.
Like I know for a fact that Wander, like at larger than me, his more comments, like he doesn't do the methodical system I do for getting through comments.
He just probably reads whatever comes through.
He reads comments, but I think he just hits refresh every now and then. It's like, I'll read these 10. All right, see you tomorrow.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
I mean, when you get to a point where you have so many,
that's all you can do.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, again,
like, what you get around to go to Christmas, you go to your family, and you get like the 5 Christmas cards.
Yeah.
And then the next Christmas, you get 500,000, and you're just like, what?
I mean, what? It's one of the things
and then at least 10% of them hate you.
Yeah.
Those are the black cards.
10% of them aren't Christmas cards, but they're actually just like like manila envelopes that say like "fuck you," and you're like, "Thanks, Merry Christmas." 1 out of every 100's a tax audit. It's just, basically, I don't know. I think comments are...
At some point, the 10% or 1% negativity just hits such a volume. They're like, you can't process that much.
Basically, the point for me, the point I want to make is don't forget that the comment section is just to say a thing. It's not to say a particular thing.
It too.
Yeah, it's not to say criticisms or critiques. It's not to say I love you. It's not to say like anything in particular. It's just to say whatever you want. So if you feel positive about a video, feel free to just say it. And even if you're one of those kind of people, it's like, I don't really know what to say. Okay, to say whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Did you say like, I thought that was pretty funny. That's it. Even if you just said that, you don't have to link the time. You don't have to be efficient about it. If you just say, put in perspective, I have 43,000 views on a Mirror episode. And I have close to 100 comments on there of people saying, wow, time to jerk off. You think I'm going to comment on that? You think I'm going to reply to that comment? I don't know what to say. I hope it's good. There's a guy who said in Korean to me. In Korean, I don't speak Korean. In Korean, he wrote, that was a good FAP session.
Yeah.
You know what I said back in Korean? Me too. And that's the thing. And it's like, I what am I supposed to do? But you know what? Good for them. They're saying stuff. It's interacting. I get a kick out of it. I think it's hilarious. My phone notification goes off and someone says like, unzipping pants, new Mirror videos out. Thank you. All right. Well, that was funny. Thank you for that.
Whereas like if you block people or stop reading or whatever the things you do to cope, like it's not weak. And it's not like losing.
I feel like it's more demotivating to make your content when you take yourself away from the interaction.
Yeah.
But you have to because the interaction isn't helping you either.
Yeah.
So it's so disheartening.
You hit a point where it's just like you just have to process and you have to figure out how to do your job.
You just have to you have to like what you do.
One way or another, because I'm honest and because I care what people say generally, like there are comments that can like ruin me for a few hours.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Where it's just like that comment happened and I'm like now I'm just gonna be like unhappy for a few hours because like they hit the exact insecurity or they just were infuriating for one reason or another, and it's because I actually still comment like a person.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of the people who interface with large scale audiences, they're like a scarecrow. Like they're just a fake person.
Yeah.
Like I watch so many larger people. I'll go to a larger YouTuber's channel and I'll go to I'll look at their comments, and every comment they do is the same cheery response over and over again, like a Hallmark card, or like they go on their Twitch audience and they're always so chipper and they're always so happy to see everyone. And it's like a weird mask mode where they're just like not really interacting and they're not really person. And so like it's such a trade-off to my approach of just being actually me on the internet. Is that like I have to deal with the consequences of that, which is especially that if there's feedback to anything I do, it's not feedback towards a character I'm playing. Yeah, it's just people talking about me. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like it's not, you don't have a persona, and I mean, could you lick?
Yeah, I'm gonna dog's just ruining our podcast.
Stop.
How dare you? You were sleeping and hiccuping over there. Why can't you go back to that? Where it's because we were yelling as loud as possible. Okay, being the loudest we've ever been on the podcast or any form of Let's Play for some reason. I don't know why we got loud today.
Yeah, but
it's a good thing
you're not happy?
It's a good thing I process audio.
I mean, for me, I don't know. It just like for me, I'm definitely not the person that I am on the channel. Like it's surprise. I don't fucking spend my entire life being upset by fucking shit. I'm not about to blow up on the flip of a dime.
Admittedly, half the time we put you in situations for you to blow up where you wouldn't interface with that situation to begin with in your normal life.
Yes, and and that's the thing. Like I'm a recluse to the hardest core, and so like if you think for a second that I can be mad about things, I spend 90%.
I can't.
Like, to be honest, yeah, you have people you interact with.
Yeah.
The person I live with is here maybe twice a week. And, and almost 90% of my day, because even with my job, which I do at home in this room, 90% of my life, I talk to nobody. I don't say anything. I sit most of my day quiet. Unless I'm recording a video, that's the only time I talk. I don't actually talk to myself, surprisingly. I don't enjoy having conversations like a schizophrenic person. So I don't. So when you think like you see me and I'm like, I fucking hate this game, blah, blah, it's because I'm just being expressive because I can't be expressive the rest of the day because I'm by myself alone.
I think one of the takeaways, it actually comes in the form of a deleted comment that somebody made that left an impact, but they deleted it because they didn't want me to read it, probably.
Okay.
It was
too late. You got read.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot. People try to delete stuff.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is actually people like there's some of those, a handful of those people that are really snide and like want to feel a little superior and like want to constantly laugh at me for all the mistakes I make. But they'll like I'll catch them deleting their own comments when they're wrong.
So
like they'll say all these snide, confident bullshit about how dumb you are, and then they'll delete their own comment because they can't take being wrong on the internet. Like, oh, not so easy, is it? I fucking screenshotted you, Icy. I saw you.
Damn, but, straight call.
What was it? But somebody made a really good point, which it was Fate's Day, the person that is named after the anime.
Been here forever, by the way.
Yeah, the person's been around for fucking ever. They're on Sad Games, right?
Yeah.
Too? And, yeah.
I remember you.
And I don't remember the exact comment, partly because I refreshed the page and it was gone because I deleted it.
Oh.
But like they said a thing along the lines of like when you talk about certain things, it's like you're essentially punishing the rest of your audience for the bad ones. It's like your reaction to the shitty people, if you react in any sort of public way or in the videos or it affects the Let's Plays or any of the other things, you're essentially punishing the good audience because of the bad audience.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'm like that's all the more reason to like sort of take a step back sometimes, and like when you get larger, eventually kind of pull away from interaction. And I mean, they even do what some channels do, which is like a lot of channels will like only have their Twitter or only have their Discord, and they won't even look at the YouTube comments themselves, and they'll keep pulling back towards a smaller portion, like a filter over and over again.
Yeah.
To like
JonTron's a good example of that. Like JonTron's somebody who only interacts on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't ever see him
at some
interact
point
on
the
YouTube.
amount of negative feedback you get constantly is like that.
What do you do?
Only hurts the content.
Yeah.
Because it's in your head. The things that people say, even if it's not like literally death threats, but just like the 50 things you did wrong yesterday. Because like for me, like I record like 4 hours. I put out like 4 hours of video a day practically. Like,
and you're being nitpicked like 3 to 4 hours every episode. Yeah. There's not a single series you're not being nitpicked on.
I make a mistake every 10 minutes probably of some kind. I misread a thing, or I don't quite notice an icon on the side of the screen, or a tutorial pops up for 2.25 seconds and disappears too fast. I didn't see what it said.
But do you know who did?
They did because they played the game 17 times, or because they're watching a video where they can pause it at any fucking moment. Yeah, they're watching. Or some people clearly rewind to look at stuff again, or some people are like, it's just the fact that they're not playing the game, so they're freely like looking around and they can notice like emotion happen because they're not actually controlling the character.
But it's the idea that like you can,
the amount of negativity is just like it's overwhelming.
Yeah, and like if Game Grumps read their shit, it would be pointless because the majority of their subscribers are there because of who they are.
Yeah,
and the way that they are. The reason that they act the way they do is because they're people not bound and constricted by reading negative shit every single day.
Danny and Aaron are just fucking having fun. And Danny is
Danny's like the furthest separated from everything.
He's the fucking airiest, like free-flowing person ever. It's because he doesn't fucking read the comments all the time.
Why would
he? Are yelling at him.
And that's fine because honestly, he's a better performer.
That's a really important point to make because like people will make the dumbest argument ever, which is that like you signed up for this, so you have to interact with the audience, and that's part of it. And like it's not part of it. No,
what's that? I don't remember signing that contract.
Like when you make your audience exists because of the videos you make.
Yeah,
you could just keep making those videos in a vacuum without the audience, and like without them like. They don't have a right to like automatically like have a say on where it goes or what happens or anything. And you don't have to listen to them to keep making the videos. So your ability to respond to comments is not part of why they like you in the first place or the content you create.
It's not
so
part
if it hurts the content, it's only bad for you.
Yeah, and I mean at the same time, it's it's not like you're negating everything. You know, it's like you're not negating every comment that exists. You're not taking away that chance for somebody to say a comment.
I think that's why a lot of YouTubers go to cons and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you can interact.
They can't process their audience anymore.
Because they can interact with the nice people.
Yeah. Well, like they can't process their audience in internet format anymore because it's too incomprehensible and too noisy and too drivelly and too angry and stuff like that.
It gets cumbersome.
So you go to like a meetup and you meet up with fans and they're all happy to see you and you can all appreciate this.
Yeah, you give like 100 high fives and you walk away going like, oh, cool, I'm glad all these people watch my content. They're really great people.
Like when Jesse Cox goes to a con, I think that's him recapturing what he can't get anymore, which is those early comments on your small channel where it was processable back then.
Yeah.
Because you do still, as a larger creator, even if you can't deal with the audience anymore, you still feed off of the fact that they exist in order to even like motivate what you're doing.
Yeah, when you see new comments coming in, even if you can't keep up with them, you feel like people are watching my stuff and they enjoy it or they hate it or something, but they're feeling stuff and I'm reaching somebody. And like that's enough, but like again, you have to understand that like there's only so much that people can take.
So far in.
Yeah,
we should cut this.
We're gonna cut this.
So this was a lot of unfiltered crazy shit. I'm just gonna say that if you're mad or offended at any of the stuff we've said about the audience stuff specifically, I mean, if you're fucking mad about the rant about the angry parts of YouTube, whatever. But I mean, if you're mad about like the concept of how we're talking about commenters, like take a breath, stop, come back tomorrow and watch that part again, because it's complicated. The whole it's a complicated idea. It's hard to articulate, and we're not specifically mad at you. It's just it's a fucking weird thing.
Yeah,
and it's the ultimate complicate. It's one of those ultimate complicated forms of empathy, is trying to figure out how this works for the other person.
Yes,
and not just that hyped up like hypothetical thing like, well, if I was in those shoes, I would have it completely differently because I hate my job and I'd take this in an instant and all this other stuff. Like I'm not like people,
I don't think you're 100% understanding of how jobs work.
Yeah, people are really bad at empathy, and they'll claim that they could just jump in the shoes and do the same, and they would just be completely different magically.
I could do anything.
I'm
amazing.
You have to. There's like a gravity thing where you got to think about not just being in that person's situation, but being in that person's situation every day forever.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
You're thinking about it like
the gravity.
You're thinking about it like Dirty Jobs aspect where you're like, I'm going to go and be a plumber for a day and I hope it's not bad. Oh, it's bad. Well, good thing this isn't my job. Like,
yeah, it's like oh god, like the Morgan Spurlock guy? He did the Supersize Guy. He did he had that one where it's like, we're gonna live on minimum wage for a whole month. It's like you're fucking like poverty tourists.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. That's fucked up. They're like, isn't it crazy that people live like this? But they know they have it doesn't. None of it's real because they have a safety net where they just go back to their normal lives immediately afterwards.
Oh yeah,
it's a different thing to actually exist in this position forever.
Yes,
that's what it is,
and it's. Yeah,
it's weird.
I would recommend to people who are more proactive in commenting or reacting negatively, especially if you're listening to us and you're like going to write a really angry comment.
Yeah.
Write the angry comment in Word or like a notepad, save it, come back tomorrow, rewatch the part, reread your comment.
And it's also just like it's wrong. It's wrong to take this personally because it's not a personal thing. No, this is not about individuals.
I'm not calling anybody out.
This is about a horde.
Yeah.
Where a horde that even just leans negative kind of can collectively just beat someone down. Yeah. And it's like that. Like it's not something to be taken personally because it's not a thing that each of you is individually like doing the wrong thing and being a bad person. It's like it's just a thing that like not everyone's designed to do, especially might blow your minds. All you guys are watching all these gaming YouTubers and stuff. You know who the popular demographic you probably identify with as all these video gaming people are fucking introverts and aren't good at dealing with large numbers of people. I can't even go to parties. I go to my dad's house for his birthday and he has too many friends. So there's like 50 people in my childhood home and I'm like, I can't. It's just a wave of noise. I can't keep track of anyone's conversations. There's too many people. I don't know where to put my hands. I just feel uncomfortable.
And this is the house I grew up in.
I'm gonna head out. Andrew lives in the same town. I'm gonna drive over there. Yeah. Like I've considered leaving the party to go to your house in like 4 different parties.
And that's
because I just don't want to be there.
And you know why? Because you know that my house has nothing. Yeah. So it's like, nice. It's quiet.
So a lot of us that are on YouTubers are stuck in a paradox of being a super extroverted job as super introverts, and we were doing something that was kind of inherently introverted that got us to the thing where everyone's looking at us and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, It's definitely a situation of like you think about it in a con setting where you're like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to go con. That fucking terrifies me. Like, I would love to meet people, but goddamn, that sounds scary to like.
Doesn't it?
What if you open a door, or like, what if you go down to a place like, oh, let's do a meetup at the park. You go to the park, like, this is not as many people.
They're all here for me.
This is a lot of people. You kind of look around, you're like, I really hope PewDiePie showed up.
I don't know how I would react to somebody like walking up to me like a fucking Panda Express and just recognizing me. Because I'm like, somebody commented on my fucking Doctor Who shirt once and I ruined it. Like, I didn't do that. I didn't handle that right. Fucking was like, oh yeah, Doctor Who and stuff like that. And it's like, oh yeah, I made some stupid comment about like how this latest seasons have been all fucked up or something. Why would you do that? Just fucking connect with the person over the fact that Doctor Who is a good thing and you like that or something. You're wearing a shirt of it, you fuck. What's wrong with you?
Oh,
I will fuck up any social interaction.
I've been actively avoiding wearing shirts anymore. Like,
that have like an
stuff.
icon on it, especially in like podcasts or in public or anything. It's like
in public specifically.
Yeah, because they're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, I had that interaction. I had that interaction once with a T-shirt that was like supposed to be.
That's why you keep seeing me wear like handsome furs and shit like that. Like no one knows what that is.
Yeah,
I saw them in the fucking second story stage, walk on stage above a bar, the kind of stage where you have to walk through the audience to get on the stage because there's no doors or or steps or anything. Like the guitarist bumped into me. Because there was no room. Like, that's how you get in and off the stage. It's like, wear that type of shit. No one recognizes it. It's fucking, I don't know. It's like no one comments on it. It's great.
Yeah, I had a shirt that it's a one-piece shirt, but it's specifically hidden to not look like one. It's just supposed to look like noise shirt. And some person asked me, was like, what does that mean? And I was like, I can't explain this to you. Like,
I don't want to unpack this.
No, yeah, it's like, I'm not going to explain something that is like part of a series that's been going on for like 25 years. And this is like halfway into that 25 years. And it's a specific arc from a specific person dealing with like slavery. Like, can I explain this to you? No, I'm just going to move on. I just told him, it was like, it's from a Japanese cartoon. And he's like, I don't watch Japanese cartoons. I was like, I know, man.
Or even like I've had somebody ask about my Panda shirt before. The one that's the Game of Thrones parody. I'm like, I don't even want to try to unpack this or why I'm wearing it. Like the idea of like, sure, it's literally just a weird riff on the fact of like the cover image of season 1 of Game of Thrones, basically, and that's it, really. It's like, but at the end of the day, I just like the picture.
It's like, yeah, you see,
felt like wearing it. And the moment I have to talk about it sounds really stupid.
Yeah, I'm just like, look, I'm a big giant child. I get it. I like this dumb shirt because it has something that I go like, hey, that's really funny. I can understand that. I don't want you to talk about it. Please don't.
Jesus.
Like, if you...
We gotta cut this off because now we're talking about fucking graphic tees now.
Graphic tees.
So this is us.
Yeah.
You get the real me. Take it or leave it. It's really easy to leave it or take it.
You don't get the real.
Watch the videos or don't, and it's your choice every day.
You'll never get the real me because I'm a scared boy and I don't like talking about myself or showing myself in public, which is why my neighbors don't know I exist half the time.
I'm just a normal, boring ass nerd guy trying to do his shit and fucking make a way, and I don't know what I'm doing. I thought I was going to have one of them college jobs I went to college for, and now I'm just kind of doing this, and I like doing it, but also I don't like parts of it, and that's every job.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Hooray.
We'll get around to your other questions later. I thought we'd get a lot further, but turns out we have a lot of shit to say.
We talk a lot.
Let's try to get this all done before Andrew fucking leaves the country in 6 months.
Don't tell people that. Then they'll follow me. If you want to ask more questions,
they might already be there.
Oh, no. No. Oh, God. Wait. Yeah, maybe.
Some of them are already there, guaranteed.
One is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Send your questions to SitAndDiscussPodcast@gmail.com. It's probably in like the description or whatever.
Or there.
Somewhere.
Or there.
Yeah, you keep pointing there, but I keep forgetting to put it in.
I don't mean like even text. I'm saying I don't know how you're watching this.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes the video might be below.
I've forgotten to put the thing in the corner for like most of the podcast so far. Well, whatever, it's an email.
It's either
if you really care, you'll find it.
It's either in the description.
If you're a real fan.
Description. I don't know where the description is, depending on where you're watching it and how.
Is it ever above? I thought that's always below.
I've seen it in weird places before.
I mean, on every handheld thing, it's going to be below, right?
Yeah, but what if you put the video down? Like if you
and like a picture in picture.
Yeah, you like do the picture in picture, and then it's.
How are you so busy?
I don't look. I don't. I'm just saying.
The videos.
Look in the description; it's there.
We're just rambling. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.